answer questions, which we always will do and will continue to do today. Of course, the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line, which is always open to you. You should know the number by now. It's 877-794. Yeah, 794-1973.
There we go.
I have to look at it.
You never
We
said
only have to
I
say
need
it
to know
every
the
day,
number.
multiple times.
They need to know it.
Right. I don't need it. I don't text the number. I don't.
No,
But I need to give it to
Yeah.
you. Oftentimes, I don't answer questions as many as I should on X/Twitter, whichever you prefer. I don't really care what you want to call it. But I did get one last week, earlier this week, perhaps. And I am remiss that I have not answered the question yet. And the question is there a place that I can listen to D.N.D. on demand? And I thought that was a great question. Where can you listen to D.N.D. on demand? And the question is from, if I can find it, Dylan Booth.
there we go, Dylan.
At Dylan Booth 14 a couple days
Great
ago. Is there a
question.
way to listen to D&D on demand? And I want to answer that question. So you can watch us on YouTube.
Yes.
How else can you find us on demand?
Facebook,
Facebook.
Twitter.
Okay.
On
And-
demand, it's on our podcast website.
Yeah, podcast as well. Up after every show. So,
That's right.
yeah, and of course, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app.
Absolutely. YouTube.
It's kind of set us as a preset on there on your iHeartRadio app, and you'll be able to find us all the time, all the podcasts when we're live. On demand. Always throughout the day, 10 to 2.
And then afterwards, I think you wanted to listen to us on the drive home.
And
though, too.
afterwards. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just answered it
Look
live on
up
the air.
D.N.D. iHeart on Google. It'll take you to the podcast page. And you
Yeah.
can find us there.
You might have to sift through some Dungeons and Dragons podcasts, but
As long as
you can
yeah,
find
as long-
us.
Right.
It's the first one that came up for me.
There you
At
go.
least-
Yeah. Might have to put in that iHeart
Yeah.
part for it.
But there's
Yeah.
probably a D&D Dungeons and Dragons podcast on the iHeartRadio app somewhere too.
Probably.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
How many Dungeons and Dragons podcasts are there? Period.
Probably more than you think.
Oh no, because there's about a year ago they were reportedly about 2 million regular podcasts worldwide.
Oh,
2
wow.
million.
Nice.
Now it's closer to 3
Oh, goodness.
because if you don't have anything else to do, if you've got 15 minutes a week, you
Yeah.
can make yourself a podcast.
If you like talking and hearing yourself talk.
The barrier to entry to the podcast space has never been easier.
Yeah.
You can do it from
There
your
are
mom's
some
basement.
good podcasts, I guess. 100 best D&D podcasts to listen to in 2025. I found that article.
That's what I'm saying.
But we are D.N.D.
Right.
They are D.ampersand.D.
Correct. I mean, there's
Yeah. It's like the Meadowlands versus Metallands, type of
You just have-
difference.
you just have to find us, but we're there. You can
That's right.
listen if you want to, and now that with the advent of the video stream and everything, you can see exactly why our faces were made for radio.
Exactly.
So, we got a good show for you. I have not heard back from Wayne Larrivee yet, but he is scheduled to join us coming up at 10:35. Hopefully, we will hear from Wayne, and we would love to talk to the Hall of Fame esteemed erudite voice of the Green Bay Packers later on this hour. Also, we will hear from Football Friday Night host and friend of the show, Chuck Freeman, coming
Let's
up
go.
at about 12:35. State starts tomorrow.
Yes. Are you pumped? Are you excited?
I like State. I really do,
Yeah.
especially when you've got some new teams, some blue bloods. I mean, you look at what happened in the state semis last week, and Homestead loses by 1 point to West De Pere. West De Pere will be taking on Notre Dame in the Division II finals. Those schools are about 7 miles apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the bigger game in Green Bay this weekend is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Notre Dame against West De Pere or if it's going to be the Packers against the Vikings.
Yeah. It's a great question. And
We
you got
did get
Arrowhead and Bayport in D1.
Yep,
Those were a
Arrowhead's
couple
back.
of close games in the finals as well.
Arrowhead barely beat Wanakee.
Yeah.
And Wanakee's
Terrible
always
shame.
there too. Wanakee's one of the certainly a blue
Another
blood.
blue blood. Yeah.
Absolutely. Catholic Memorial loses to Grafton in overtime. Catholic
man.
Memorial, there, Bill Young's team, that's a blue blood.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? Some of the smaller schools, Division 7, Kenosha St. Catholic. They blanked Potosi, Cassville, 28-0. So it'll be Kenosha St. Joe's against Cochrane. Fountain City They beat Lord's Academy of Oshkosh in double overtime, 17-14.
Oh my goodness. Barn burner.
Barn burner. I believe that one was played at Titan Stadium, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Darlington, they'll be playing Edgar in Division 6. So you got the 4 lower division games tomorrow. You know, there's more high school games played at Camp Randall Stadium every year than there are college football games played at Camp Randall Stadium every year.
That's a wild fact.
And they're all played in 2 days.
Yep. Back to back.
Yeah.
So I thought there were 7 divisions. Wouldn't that
There
be
are.
7 games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 7 games for the Badgers at Camp Randall every year.
Well,
So
then there's as
this is-
many.
Yeah, there's the same amount. Same amount.
Still,
Pretty impressive.
pretty
work.
wild, though.
Talking about impressive and wild, Casey James, friend, of course, here at iHeart, texts in, says, I went to high school with the Gygax kids. Apparently, Gygax is the guy who invented Dungeons and Dragons. He said, I've never played that game, but I guess it's a Wisconsin thing. Maybe we should embrace it. Maybe we should embrace Dungeons and Dragons.
I think
as
it's a
one of our
little late
great
for us, though,
inventions.
isn't it? I mean, we should have, if we were going to embrace that, it would have been in middle school when everybody was awkward. Except
Yeah.
for Nick. I don't ever see Nick going through an awkward phase.
I was like the B level in terms of popularity. I was never really on the top, but I was never on the bottom. I was just right there in the mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was down towards the bottom for a while.
I think
I know.
You were literally the tallest guy. How could you possibly be at the bottom?
In popularity, though.
middle school was such a weird
It's
time
okay.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Middle
it was an
school, I was a rascal. I kept getting in trouble, kept getting in school suspensions. I was in the box. We talked about that before. Concrete walls, Doug, about 6 feet wide room.
Yeah.
Concrete walls, window that was probably like 2 by 8. It was a super small window. and
Every
I would
6
just
hours,
sit
they
there.
come in and give you some bread and water so you can
Yeah.
sustain yourself.
They'd make me bring all my books in there and sit down. I was in there maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times, but
Yeah. I could see that.
It honestly does sound like solitary confinement in prison. Like
You
it
had to
sounds
put me in
worse
a
than
cage.
prison almost.
they had to cage me in middle school. That was how crazy middle school was.
Middle school
And I
was
had
just like, did anybody have a good experience in middle school? Because the people who peaked in middle school truly peaked in middle school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's
That's
gotta
worse
be
than
pretty
peaking in high
embarrassing.
school.
It's definitely
Peaking in middle
worse,
school
'cause
is definitely worse than peaking in high
way
school.
worse.
But I know people who peaked in middle school. We all do.
They were the first kid to be like 5'10", so they were like the best athlete, and then they stayed 5'10", and they were not the best athletes anymore. I remember those days. Yeah, but I was. They always told me you'll never be able to get away with this once you get to high school, and they were right. Once you get to high school, you have to grow up a little and actually pay attention in class.
Yeah.
I've blamed for a long time. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. Maybe it's, a cop out. The fact that you didn't really get real grades in middle school on my behavior. I mean, we got 4, 3, 2, or 1 on tests, on exams. There were no A's, B's, C's, D's. You passed no matter what. So, I mean,
Pass no matter what?
I mean, if you tried, they were gonna ensure you passed. So, I mean, I
Did
passed.
everybody get a blue
easily.
ribbon
Going down
too?
the toilet.
And I didn't have to try to pass easily. Like I was, probably like a B average student in middle school because I didn't try at all. And then in high school you try and you actually grow up a little bit. But
I'm glad you
peaking
did.
in middle school is brutal.
Yeah,
That's
and then they
terrible.
tell you that you're not gonna be able to get away with this in college, and then in college, you get away with quite a bit because even the professors don't care about some of those things.
Well, you went to lacrosse, so.
Oh, is that what you think it is? No, it's the fact that I got
Not everybody got to go to the Harvard of the Midwest.
It's that I got a
Oshkosh.
communications degree. That's what it was. But
I remember my first college class, it was biology or something like that. It was like, why am I in this class? I'm not going but it was just a general ed that you needed to
I
have.
felt the same way when I was in calculus.
It was,
It's like, why am I here?
Dr. Mahadevi. It was the
Oh.
professor's name. Nice man.
Nice man. Yeah.
Very nice man, but I did not learn a damn thing.
Yeah. I do not remember anything from Calc 1 that I had to take to finish my math credits. It was terrible. I barely passed. It was the worst grade I had ever gotten. And yeah, I ended up with a D in that class. I'm literally stressing this final because there was a legit chance I could have failed that class.
Here's a dream that I normally have, and I have it way too much. Speaking of middle school.
Normally.
No, I have this one regularly. I actually
Okay.
talked to a dream analyst about it once.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So in middle school, it's always the same thing. I'm in college, but the setting is Butler Middle School in Waukesha,
Okay.
where I went to middle school. But these are college level classes, and it's a math class, so it's like an algebra class or something like that. And I went to the first day and then just stopped going to class.
Mm.
And then about 3/4 of the way through the semester, I'm like, I never dropped that. I should probably go back to class at some point. And I'm so far behind the 8 ball. And, the tests are coming up, and I have no idea what any of the concepts are. And then I wake up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
And you have that regularly.
I have had that dream probably hundreds of times.
Even still as an adult.
Yes, absolutely. Especially as an adult.
I've had very similar dreams, Doug, since I graduated. I mean, and I'm only a couple of years out now. But I will have a reoccurring dream where I have something that's due that I didn't do and that I have to accomplish, or a class that I had forgotten about. I wonder what that is. What did the dream analyst tell you?
He told me that it felt like there was something that I had unfinished business with.
Okay, so very deep. Dream analyst. Oh, it sounds like someone in your past life is trying to talk to you.
I'm
for an extra
sensing
$10.
How's your relationship with your dad?
Someone that has an S in their name. Is there someone in your life that has an S in their name? Is there someone who has an R in their name? Well, my last name is Russell. That's it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever lost somebody? Grandparents?
Has anyone ever close to you passed away? I'm like, yeah, I'm in my 50s. Yeah, all of my grandparents are dead. Exactly. Your grandmother is trying to contact you from the grave.
I can't do that today. You're going to have to come back another day.
Yeah.
$50.
Oh my god! What the reoccurring dreams here with you guys? My goodness!
You don't have any recurring
dreams? Dave?
I mean,
do you even have dreams?
I've had dreams, but I don't have like reoccurring ones necessarily like that.
Oh, I got some messed up.
I've had some wild ones. It's hard to remember them like 5 seconds after you wake up, but
I die a lot. I have a lot of time.
Okay.
Like free falling, you know what I mean? Guns. I mean, I tend to die in my dreams on occasion, probably once or twice a month. I wake up, I'm not dead.
My wife says she doesn't dream in color.
Well, just black and white.
I'm like, huh? It's like, yeah, I heard people don't dream in color. I'm like, I dream in color. I don't know who these people are.
Like those movies without the audio.
I guess. Yeah, they're all
silent movies
before talkies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She's just it's Charlie Chaplin and people doing actions, and then the text comes on the screen. That's brutal. She's colorblind in her dreams.
What I try to do is, if I have a really messed up one, when I wake up, I try to write it down.
Okay.
Just so I remember it later.
Yeah.
I hope to never remember some of them, you know what I mean?
Because 5 minutes after you wake up, they're gone.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. I had that once. I think I actually did write it down. I have to look back through my phone to see where it is and what exactly the dream was. But I think I still have it somewhere, where I just had like the wildest dream, and it made like no sense to me almost. It was just all over the place. And then
I had a crazy one last night that I do remember.
Oh, okay. Well, do tell, Doug.
So I was visiting a friend in another city, but I still had to babysit, not babysit, but like dog sit for my neighbor. So I left their studio apartment, my friend who lives in another city, and his wife was a different person, not his real life wife, but a different person.
Okay.
And then I said, I've got to go take care of, the dog sitting, but I'll be back. And she just gave me this big long hug, and it was weird.
Huh.
I'm like, I'll be back in like 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. It was just weird. It's just very strange dream. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. You're not in real life, because they weren't, it was just this random person that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Right.
As opposed to my friend's real life wife.
But apparently, like in dreams, like the faces that you see, like they are faces that you have seen before, whether in passing or whatever else. Like you may not remember them. They could just be strangers passing the street. But apparently all those faces are faces you have seen before. Like you don't have the ability to just make them up like you've seen them somehow. I read that somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, I suppose, the brain is a mysterious place.
It is.
It's a very, very mysterious place. All right, we got a lot to get to over the course of the next 4 hours. Hopefully, we will hear back from Wayne Larrivee in a few minutes. Also, Thanksgiving is coming up. What role do you play in Thanksgiving, because we were talking about this before the show. We've talked a lot about Nick, and we're just trying to unpeel the onion a little bit. Nick, for as much of a rascal as he was apparently in middle school, apparently you don't do anything at Thanksgiving. You're just kind of the quiet kid.
Yeah, I'm way more reserved. Way more reserved.
That's
I mean, I'm the youngest.
You got to be on his best behavior for
but why?
aunts and uncles.
I just think I'm the youngest, so I've always kind of been the,
Except for when you were in middle school.
Yeah. Well, that I'm no longer in a family dynamic in middle school. I'm in a friend dynamic, different atmosphere.
Interesting. I'm going to unpeel that onion a little bit, because I don't even know what my family dynamic is for Thanksgiving, because I've worked so many Thanksgivings. I do know, and this discussion will come up. If you didn't know, I hate Thanksgiving food.
Oh, yeah.
I hate everything about it.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that coming up here on this next week.
Yeah. I mean, by now, most people know, I think. If you know me at all, you know my argument.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll do that coming up. Also, Warren Brinson calls out MetLife Stadium's turf. We'll hit that coming up. Saw that one walking up Main Street. Also, Benjamin Novak and Maddox Cochrane. What do they have in common? Nothing good, at least if you're a Wisconsin football fan. We'll hit that coming up as well. We're just getting started on a wild Wednesday. We've gotten off to a hell of a start. Talking text line open to you. If you got any dreams you'd like us to analyze, or at least try to pick apart, well, I think that's fascinating. 877-794-1973. If you want to tell me how messed up I am, feel free to do that as well. 877-794-1973. It's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Now here I go again. I see the crystal vision. I keep my visions to myself.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. It's Border Battle Week. Stay with the game as we get you ready for the Packers and Vikings.
From 27 yards, left hash. Snap good, spot down. Walsh's kick is up, and it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that. He missed it left. And the Seattle Seahawks are off to Charlotte. 10-9. Favre goes back to pass. He pumps. Now he fires over the middle. Intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. It was intercepted by Tracy Porter near side to the 40, and John Sullivan runs him down at the 47-yard line. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe what I just saw. Looking at that play, he should have just held on to it, Paul. He should have. He could have easily got 5 or 6 yards if he would have just pulled that thing down and dove forward. But why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Welcome to Rivalry Week. Welcome to the border battle. CJ in Columbus said, I think there's one in Arizona where he says the kick is good and the Vikings kicker ended up missing it. CJ, your memory is correct.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is good! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right. Oh, my kidding me? Oh, my. He missed it right. What a gut punch to a team. Ball that play after play toward the end fought its way back. Missed it by like a foot.
Wayne also told us about that one because of where they were. He's like, you can't see the numbers, you can't see the kick, whatever it ends up being. But it is just a hilarious moment. But it's not even my favorite Paul Allen call that involves the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Run, PA. 17, 16, 15.
See, they have to go deep into the end zone.
We better put some people in the end zone, right, Joe?
That's exactly right.
I mean, there's nobody inside the 10.
Get back there.
Here it is. The season's on the line. 2 receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! No! The Cardinals have knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs. I believe it was caught by Nate Poole.
It was.
He's being mugged by his Cardinal teammates. They're Minnesota Vikings flying on the field.
Oh, and we love to see that
Was-
part, Paul. Thank you for that last little drop. And thank you to our sister station, KFAN, for all
Always.
of that illustrious audio.
Listen to No BS with Billy and Armin every weekday from 6 to 10 right here on The Game.
Here are the top Journey songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart.
Someday love will find you. Break those chains that bind you. One night will remind you. Oh, we touched away our separate ways.
Number 2, Any Way You Want It.
Baby, who changed? Oh, she said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Oh, I said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it.
Number 1, Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Speed like people.
Hear more from Journey and similar artists now. Search for Journey on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
Okay, so the movie was crap, but it gave us a huge song from Seal. 1995's Batman Forever was a laughable, but Kiss from a Rose was the song we all needed.
I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the way. Ooh, the more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Good news. We will talk to Wayne Larrivee coming up in about 12 minutes. Did hear back from him. Always love having the Hall of Fame voice of the Green Bay Packers on the program. Had a lot of response on the Nicolaylaw.com talk and text line. Let's see. Aaron from Fond du Lac. Doug, did you ever spend time in the box at Butler Middle School? I have a few times. I don't know. Do I know Aaron from Fond du Lac? Did I go to middle school?
No. But
Aaron
apparently that
and
box
Fondy?
is famous over there.
I spent time in it once. I didn't do it a lot, but I got trouble. Something, I forget what it was. So when I went to middle school, it was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. So your freshman year of high school, you were still at the middle school.
Okay.
And then you spent, your sophomore, junior, and senior years at the high school. And I went to Waukesha North. So it was 3 years and 3 years. I have not set foot back in Butler Middle School since the day I left back in 1980 something.
Probably for the best.
But I still think that I could navigate it however many, 40 years later. I still feel like I could find every nook and cranny of that place. I have no idea why. I just feel like I know the layout so well of that.
Unless the layout's still changed in the 40 years since.
Unless they've changed it, yes.
Yeah.
They've changed the layout of my middle school in Ripon pretty substantially. So it used to be a middle school. Now it's tennis courts.
Oh,
There's no building anymore.
Well, that is changing the landscape.
That is quite a bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. I've played tennis on the burial grounds of my former middle school in the past, built in I think the 30s.
Okay.
So it was due to go down when it went down. Maybe it was a little bit later than that, maybe the 50s. But I love that place, and now I can't show anyone where I went to middle school. It's actually kind of sad.
My middle school's also the high school. New Berlin West is middle and high school together. 7th and 8th grade are in the same building as 9 through 12.
Okay. I've driven past it. So my pet sitter lives right next to Butler Middle School. So I've had to go over to her house a couple of times to drop off like a key or drop off instructions or whatever before we leave. She's also the house sitter while we're out of town. So I have been over there. So it still the physical building still looks the same. It doesn't look like they've had any additions or subtractions.
Okay.
What they've done on the inside, I have no idea. But if they haven't touched it, I feel like I could navigate it just as well as I did when I was there. But I haven't set foot in the place since I left.
Right. Yeah.
So
I haven't set foot in my grade school at all since I left. So yeah, it's not surprising.
But I did spend I spent time in the box. I got in trouble. I forget what it was. I wish I had a good story for you.
Oh,
but you had a box as well?
Well, I mean, everybody had. I think every school has something where they're,
no,
where
every
there's
school did not have a box
where
of solitary
where you're
confinement.
disciplined. Where you're disciplined.
Dave did not have that. He did not have the upbringing we did, Doug. Dave had, probably a corner where they give out juice and cookies. It's gonna be better tomorrow.
Sabrina and Tosa writes, I've got two different friends who teach middle school and they love it. They love the drama and the conversations and the hormones. I think
6'7". 6'7". 6'7". That's what they're gonna do.
I would say whatever that means, but I actually know what it means because it means nothing. I think, well, that's good because no one else wants to deal with middle school. I think Sabrina's onto something here. If you teach middle school, you have to embrace it. You have to embrace the 6'7". You have to embrace the craziness. You have to embrace
the stupid trends that they all do.
Boys not wanting to wear sweatpants for a very, very specific reason.
Yeah.
You hit a pothole on the way in and just, your whole day is ruined.
Yeah.
Just that kind of hormone, just everything's just crazy off the charts.
Yeah. Watching them attempt to flirt with someone and failing miserably.
Yeah, and then you got the way too early sexually active ones making out in the hallway.
Yeah.
There's that.
Come on.
Well, what? Did that not happen?
Wrong?
Am I wrong?
I don't think that happened in Ripon, but maybe it did.
Okay.
Well, you just didn't have the upbringing that we did, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, the middle school sex was off the charts in your respective town.
It kind of was a little bit. I'm like, all right. Red Hot Tim Not writes, but did you go back, Doug? I think he was talking about the weird dream that I had about a friend of mine who lives in a different city. I'm going to be as vague as I can about this because it actually is a public figure. But a friend of mine who lives in a different city who has a house, but I was in my dream at their studio apartment, which does not exist, with his wife, who also is a different person. He's in real life, this person is married to a brunette woman. His wife in my dream was a blonde woman who I don't believe I've ever seen before, but apparently at some point I have, because that's the way the dreams work.
Yeah. I actually was able to find
but I did not go back because that's when I woke up.
Of course. Yeah. And then you try and go back and you try and connect back to the dream and it's like, nope, it's gone.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
You can't restart it. Even if you're like, oh man, I remember where I was. I want to finish this. And you can't do it.
Yeah. And I had to go let the dogs out. So
who let the dogs out?
Yeah. I had to let the dogs out. So I had to leave my friend's studio apartment that does not exist. I'm just going to pick a city that's not where he actually lives. I don't want to identify. We'll say Miami. He doesn't live in Miami, but I had to leave his house, his studio apartment in Miami to go let my neighbor's dogs out in Waukesha. And then I'd just be right back.
Yeah. Just a few minutes, just a quick little jaunt over to Waukesha. Yeah.
That was
from halfway
pretty
across country.
messed up dream.
Yeah.
But no, that's when I woke up, so I didn't go back. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, I found the dream that I wrote down that I remembered one time that was just kind of wild and all over the place.
Let's hear this.
Hear it. So it starts with visiting Hawaii. Okay. Which, sounds like a great dream. Off to a great start.
We're off to a good start.
Yeah. Starts on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that was a detail I wrote down. On Monday, we're looking to find a long-term home possibility on lands next to the water. This is how you know it's a dream, trying to afford buying a house in Hawaii. It's got butterflies, salt beach water, saltwater beach spots. Turn around, volcanoes erupting. Huge fireballs, lava way up in the sky.
Sure.
Going to make a run for it.
Okay.
As I'm, turning around, I'm taking a Snapchat video, of course, to put on my story. With the
as
caption,
one does.
As one does with the caption, if I don't make it back to Milwaukee, this is why. Try to evacuate, steal a truck from an old truck stop, use the radio to ask for an airlift or help, drive away towards some evacuation area, somehow get on a plane to fly to the main airport. We fly over a baseball stadium called Blue Field, BLEU, like blue cheese. I don't know why, but that was the name that I saw.
French Field.
that's great.
Baseball somehow finds its way into my dreams.
Of course.
It's ashy. It's cloudy. Get out of the danger zone. The highway is grassy. We come to the airport. We watch one plane fall into the harbor. Aaron Rodgers is on our plane. Somehow.
Oh, I love this.
He's asking, how do we get out of this? Because he's important and can't die.
Actually, though, he might say that. I can see that. I can see that.
Quote.
That might be an actual quote.
We turn to land at the airport, and all of a sudden it turns into me landing directly in a booth at a Chili's.
Nice.
As we get seated to get some lunch. Rogers is gone. I don't know where he is now. But now I'm at a table with my sister, and the rest of the fam sat at the table next to us because the table we were at only had 4 seats apparently. Even though it's just 2 of us listed here. But I had this.
Do they have enough leg room for you? Or did you want to kick somebody out? Sorry, that was yesterday's show. Go on.
Low blow. Come on.
Wow, Doug. I had
call back.
I had this like chili pepper, because of course we're at Chili's. This chili pepper like ornaments, like kind of like coin thing that signified a combo meal or something. Kind of like those free drink little things.
Okay.
That signified a combo meal or something that I usually ordered, but it broke and it wasn't working, and then I woke up.
Oh no!
And I'm just like, what is it? How did I end up at a Chili's? I was in Hawaii. I'm trying to evacuate a volcano. Aaron Rodgers is somehow here.
I love it.
And now I'm just at Chili's and I can't even get my usual combo order. And then I woke up.
Wow.
Wayne Larrivee's coming up next.
starring Jason Statham.
I love it.
Oh man, I love Jason Statham.
Some of these things. Well, I mean, if somebody asked me one time who would I like to play me in the movie, and it's like, well, for accuracy, probably Statham.
Yeah, probably Jason Statham.
Wayne Larrivee's next, coming up here on D.N.D. Keep them coming on the talk and text line 877-794-1973, or Clooney, maybe Pitt. I don't know.
Yeah.
877-794. Just want to be accurate, of course. You understand.
Of course.
Yeah.
Denzel.
Denzel would be fantastic.
I couldn't even say it with a straight face.
The Hall of Fame voice of the Packers is coming up straight ahead. Stay with us on the game.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment.
Eric Tasker here from Tailgate Talk. Paul Wagner and myself are back with a new episode everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. In our latest episode, we gather around the tailgate and talk about the rut in Wisconsin, successes, letdowns, and just a general excitement that comes with the first couple weeks in November. It's a great time to be in the woods, but if you need something to get you through your day, just search for Tailgate Talk on the iHeartRadio app and everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Good luck out there this week to all the hunters. Wear your Blaze Orange and be safe.
Drew and KB on the gang.
We're riding the K train. Cato Kalin joins the program. Hey, the Just a Bit Outside documentary from your friend Kelly Call and his crew was phenomenal. I've watched it a bunch of times. We make all of our young listeners and our young coworkers watch it to see what it was like with the 82 Brewers and why that team is so beloved. I'm just wondering, Cato, what memories did that bring back for you when you saw it?
It was great because first of all, when they beat the Angels, coming back 3 games in a row, it's phenomenal. Everybody, I remember going to so many games. Harvey Keene was amazing. The whole gang. One time I did an event, and it was actually when I was living in LA, but I was flown to Milwaukee when the Potawatomi sort of just opened, and I was a guest of a huge charity, and my seat was next to Moose Haw. And I had the guy was great. He lives in Scottsdale now. So I stayed, we exchanged numbers, and we just reminisced about how great he was and how great the Brewer was just doing that entire time. I mean, Vukovic, Gorman Thomas, it was so blue collar that, everybody gravitates at this team has got to win it all, which they didn't.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a #1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to #5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one. Whoa. Oh, come on, baby.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And you know, I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, you know, the number 1 rock star in the world had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, you know, they knew what I was going to do on stage, but off stage they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Well, this about sums up the first 35 minutes of our show today.
The open Dreamweaver.
It's Oh, this is Dreamweaver?
Yeah.
We have had quite a ride for the first 35 minutes of the program. It's time to kind of bring it all together, to have some credibility reinserted back into the program, because as Red Hot Tim Knott writes on the talk and text line, and this stream has been brought to you by LSD. That's kind of the baseline of where we've begun the show. So with that, it's time now to check in with the Hall of Fame voice of the Green Bay Packers, our friend Wayne Larrivee. Hello, Wayne. How are you today?
Doug, how you doing?
You know, it's been a ride today. I don't know how it even started, but we got started on Messed Up Dreams. So Dave was talking about how he was on an airplane once coming back from Hawaii and then landed at Chili's, but on the airplane was Aaron Rodgers, who didn't want to crash. It was just strange. So anyway, the Packers, let's talk about them. Let's talk about the football team. Let's see. Warren Brinson calls out MetLife's turf. He says on Twitter that it was for the first time in his entire career like playing on concrete. So how bad is that turf? Because it just seems like it doesn't even show up well on television. What does it look like in person? Because it does look like fuzzy concrete.
Yeah, it does on TV. I saw that. I just thought it was the way the light was hitting it, but it's a turf like Detroit where people seem to get injured on it. I don't know. I mean, the Giants have a lot of injuries, and teams going. The Packers, got to a point in the fourth quarter where it was a battle of attrition, where they have enough people to finish the game. So, I think there's something to this. The turf in Detroit is not good. And they have lots of injuries each of the last 2 years. And the turf at the Meadowlands, I mean, that might be the only bad aspect of that whole place, because that's a great stadium.
Wayne, when you consider the quarterback position for the Green Bay Packers, I think there's value in having a guy that you could bring in for a special package. And I'm referencing Malik Willis. When he was thrust into the game against New York, it felt like that was a jolt of energy for the offense, and they get a touchdown out of it. Do you think that Malik Willis could potentially see himself into a unique package moving forward with the offense?
I suppose so. I think Matt's hinted at the fact that he has something up his sleeve in that regard. It would make some sense. The thing this kid can do, he really runs that read option exceptionally well. He certainly has a good enough arm. He doesn't have what I would call a big NFL arm, but it's certainly a very good arm in terms of being able to put the ball where it needs to be. He can make the throws. And he has great touch. He throws a very catchable ball. It's the first thing Larry and I noticed about him last year. But I think the skill he brings to the party, the element he brings is with his legs. And the things he can do on the ground, running the football, I think bring a nice variable into the offense. So if they were to work something like that, and I think they have some things planned, it's a matter of do they call them during the game.
Wayne, speaking of throwing a catchable ball, there were quite a few this week that ended up being dropped by the Packers. It hasn't been as much of an issue in the first half of the season this year, but what did you make of the Packers' drops issues on Sunday?
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, the first 8 weeks of the season, they had like 4 drops. Against Carolina, they had another 4 or 5 against the Giants this past weekend. It just, it was kind of like it's a flashback to last year. I thought they had this problem corrected. And so I think that's something else they'll work hard on this week. That's going to be a point of emphasis is what I'm trying to say this week in practice. And hopefully it clears it up. But, you just can't get into these big-time division games and drop the ball like that.
Yeah, 3 straight division games, and Matt LaFleur was asked about this yesterday. Well, which of the ones are more important to you? And listen, it's always the one that's right in front of you, so it's the Minnesota Vikings coming up this Sunday. As far as Minnesota, a little bit of a disappointing season, I think, for them. When you take a look at what they bring and what J.J. McCarthy, a quarterback, brings, what are you seeing, and why is this the only sub-500 team in the division?
Well, first off, they invested heavily, over $300 million in offensive and defensive linemen. They thought they had shored up that part of their football team. The offensive line has been nicked up. They've got all kinds of injuries. Ryan Kelly, their big free agent, one of their big free agent acquisitions from Indianapolis, is on IR right now. And so this has changed things up front. They're not as good on the offensive line as they were a year ago. Conversely, on the defensive line, Javon Hargrave has been okay. He's been pretty good at times. The guy that really has emerged for them is Jalen Redmond in the middle of their defensive line. He has been a beast. And then, Jonathan Allen, former Washington first-round draft choice, has been just okay at the other interior tackle position. This is an area of the team they felt they had shored up. But, Doug, what's really happening with this squad is this. They are not quite as effective defensively. Why is that? Well, because the offense isn't what it was a year ago. The offense a year ago got up on teams, got up and they played on the lead the whole way. Remember in Green Bay, they were up 28-0 at halftime over the Packers in Lambeau. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And then after that, the Vikings didn't have to play the Packers. They played the clock the rest of the game. And that allows the defense to do more with the blitz packages and the exotic looks they give you. If you're in a position where you have to put the ball up in the air consistently, trust me, Brian Flores and that pass rush will get to you.
Wayne, what do you think of Christian Watson? How about that for a guy? Redemption after back-to-back injury-riddled seasons and an opportunity to get back out there and perform as well as he has so far in 4 games. I think it's a testament to the idea of draft and development because I think he's a better player each year he's out there.
I agree if he can stay healthy, and that's a big if. He got shaken up a couple of times in the Giants game, but who didn't? That was a hard-hitting game in addition to playing on that turf. But Watson is a big-time playmaker. And I think they're finding more and more ways to get him involved. LaFleur has said he's extremely smart, very high IQ. I think he meant both in and out of football, but especially in football where he can run the full route tree. And that's something you need to do with this guy. He's not just the guy who's going to stretch the defense. He's a guy who can make plays over the middle. He can run those little out patterns to the sidelines, that kind of thing. So I think that the more they exploit this kid, the better off they are. And the other thing I would like to see them do is get Matthew Golden going. Get him going. you've got to invest a certain amount of throws into a player like that to get him going, get his confidence going, get him into the mix, because that kid is a big-time player waiting to happen. He just hasn't happened quite yet.
Wayne, speaking of wide receivers, we want to get going. Jaden Reed posted a picture yesterday of him in full uniform, pads, helmet, jersey, all that. He's missed all this time with broken collarbone, foot injury. But with him posting that, it seems like he's getting closer to returning. What's your sense on Jaden Reed's timeline?
Yeah, I think it'll be at least December. I don't see him playing in the next 2 games, but I could be totally wrong. It's just my sense from the things I gather around the team that it might be another couple of weeks to get Jaden Reed in there, but hopefully they can get him in and make some plays down the stretch, get that playoff berth, and then really get him up to speed for the postseason run. But, he's a tough kid. He's battling through it, and they fixed 2 injuries. He's had a lot of time off, and hopefully he can start getting back into practice, and maybe in a couple of weeks we see him on the field.
Hopefully Josh Jacobs isn't out for long, and hopefully we'll get an injury update from Matt LaFleur coming up shortly, as he'll meet the media probably in about 20 minutes or so in Green Bay. But as far as Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks, I mean, these guys seems like, especially Wilson running the ball, Brooks in pass protection, as Matt LaFleur's talked about a lot. How important is it to get these guys established against Minnesota if Jacobs can't get on the field this week?
Teams are running on the Vikings about 127 yards a game, a little over 4 yards a carry. So I think that's really important. I think you really want to make the Vikings defense work. And how do you do that? The Vikings defense is basically a big play pass rushing outfit. That's what they like to do. The way you make them work is run at them. Just run at them. And, even back in the early 70s when they had those great defensive lines in Minneapolis, the Purple People Eaters, the best way to beat them was to run at them, run right at them, make them work. Because pass rushing's fun. Defending the run, that's grunt work for those guys, and that's what you need to do. So I think it's very important they get that running game established, but they're going to need better production from their offensive line to do that.
Wayne, when you consider the potential value of the return of Lucas Van Ness, statistically, he was off to a better start than he had certainly so far in his career. But it felt like Rashawn Gary's production dropped the second he went off the field, and Parsons would see a boost, I'd assume, to some degree with the return of LVN. Do you think that Van Ness still has that level of impact on the defense whenever he returns?
I do. I think he was really coming into his own. He was starting to rush the passer effectively. But aside from that, he was playing the run tough. He was setting the edge and holding it. And I really liked the way he was playing against the run while he was in there. And I think the more he plays with Micah Parsons, the more he's going to develop as a pass rusher. So I think that, his best football is still ahead of him. It's taken a while, but, good things come to those who wait.
Wayne, the kicker situation has been a controversy over the past couple of weeks, as we've talked about. And Lucas Haversick gets a chance in there against the Giants and misses a couple of extra points. But just how hard was the wind on those guys down there? And, what do you think it'll mean for this week with McManus still dealing with that quad injury?
Well, if McManus is over the quad injury and is healthy enough to kick, he's the guy. Just look at the financial numbers. If you don't know anything about these guys as kickers, they paid McManus. They paid him, and they feel very good about him. They're still strong on him. The quad has been a factor. There's no doubt. And as far as the wind went, that Lucas Haversick was kicking in the Meadowlands, it was swirling. That stadium, I describe it as a big air conditioner. But that air conditioner, all 4 sides are covered. So it's not as open as some of these other stadiums, like even Lambeau Field. But the wind gets in there and it starts swirling around. And we were getting 25, 30-mile-an-hour gusts. And so it had an impact. Had an impact on the kicking game. Had an impact on deep snaps, just from the center to the holder. Had an impact on shotgun snaps. Sean Ryan had a couple of bad ones, and I would imagine the wind impacted those snaps. So it was a tough day. I would not judge Lucas Haversick so harshly based on the day he was faced with in the Meadowlands on Sunday.
I know that you have to play the game that's in front of you, and maybe this is a topic for next week, but the quick turnaround, and it'll be the same for both the Packers and the Lions and anyone who has to play on Thanksgiving. But do you hold anything back against Minnesota because you've got a game just in 4 days coming up for the second time this season?
You might, Doug, if you were on your way to 10 wins, 11 wins, or whatever at this stage, whatever the Eagles are. If you were the Eagles, yeah, you might hold something back. But you're the Packers, and you're in the middle of a fight just to make the playoffs. You don't hold anything back.
When you look at Minnesota and it's J.J. McCarthy on the other side, I think at this point, this is probably the best quarterback matchup they've had so far this season. It feels like this is the least experienced and least productive quarterback they've seen. So I'm hoping for a productive game from those guys in the secondary and Micah Parsons and the guys up front as well.
Well, I mentioned where the Vikings are struggling with the defense and the offense not getting up on people early, the defense not being able to do what it does best, rush the quarterback with desperate teams trying to come from behind. But really the big difference in Minnesota between last year and this year is the quarterback position and its productivity. Now, again, this quarterback started the season basically as a rookie, okay? Didn't play a snap in a regular season game last year. He's a rookie, all right? Number two, he also went out this season. I believe he missed 5 games earlier this year with injury. He showed flashes in the first couple of games of the season, the comeback in Chicago, but he's been woefully inconsistent. But I saw him in that game against the Bears. There was a point he could not throw the ball into the Mississippi River from the bridge straight over it. He could not. But in the fourth quarter, he got hot. Started hitting people where they should be hit, right in the numbers, in stride, and they came back and took the lead. If it wasn't for a 56-yard kickoff return touchdown, oh boy, special teams. How many games do they win and lose in this league? And it's not just the Packers, folks. I know we're all focused on the Packers. It's across the league. Missed kicks, big returns, all that stuff. It's explosive. Special teams are having such an impact. But if it wasn't for that special teams return, the Vikings beat the Bears. So McCarthy's a guy, when he's good, he's really good. When he's good, you can tell what he does well, and that is throw the deep out. And he is a guy who's still learning touch. He has a big arm. He's still learning touch. He only had 700 passing attempts in college. That's not much. And so the Vikings took a chance on him, liked what they saw. He's shown flashes, but he's inconsistent. He's a rookie. He's going through growing pains. And that's the biggest difference between the Vikings this year and the Vikings last year, where Sam Darnold, a polished NFL veteran quarterback, was having a career year.
Wayne, you're the best. We always love catching up with you on Wednesday and especially on game day as well. Noon kickoff from Lambeau Field. It's the Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. We'll see you on Sunday, and thanks again for the time today.
Oh, good to be with you guys. Talk to you next week.
All right, look forward to it. There goes the Hall of Famer, Wayne Larrivee, dropping the knowledge and bringing some credibility back to the program.
Yeah, bringing us back on the rails.
Putting us back where we need to be.
Yeah.
We can only dream about that level of credibility.
You can only, yes,
yeah,
Nick.
Well put.
Dream about that level of credibility that Wayne brings to the proceedings wherever he goes. All right, that's it for hour number 1 of the program. Still 3 hours to go. Chuck Freeman's going to join us coming up at 12:35 from Football Friday night. The state championships starting tomorrow at Camp Randall Stadium. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur. He's going to meet the media coming up live here in just a few minutes, about 15 minutes or so from now. We'll catch up with Dave Gasper. He's got a top of the hour sports update. Stay with us. It's D.N.D.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Billy Joel songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, My Life.
I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone.
Number 2, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Nowadays you can't be too sentimental. Your best bet's true, baby blue continental. Hot funk, cool funk, even even if it's old junk, still rock and roll to me.
Number 1, Uptown Girl.
Uptown girl, she's been living in her white bread world as long as anyone with hot blood can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am.
Hear more from Billy Joel and similar artists now. Search for Billy Joel on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number 1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number 1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House. And British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number 1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you alive? I promised myself I'd get back. Said I'm gonna try it with a two.
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, back with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a number 1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to number 5 in the US.
Rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
Can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one. Whoa.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
Your attention, please. We are the gang and the home of D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Weekdays from 10 to 2, live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X by searching 97.3 The Gang.
Woo!
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
The big woo is back. Brandon Woodruff accepted the qualifying offer from the Brewers yesterday. He will return to Milwaukee in 2026. He could sign an extension with a lower price tag annually, but regardless, he's here and will be here once again for one more season.
Yeah, I like that. I think that I would never say you owe it to the team, but this team kind of stuck with them through some stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that he likes it here. I know his wife, Joni, loves it in Milwaukee as well. I know their kids have kind of grown up here. They don't spend the offseason here. They're back in Mississippi for that, which, respect that too. But as far as Brandon Woodruff, I do think on some level, because of the injury at the end of last season, now he's got to prove it that he can stay healthy through an entire year, because he's had his several seasons truncated. When he's out there, he's great.
Yeah.
And nobody has anything bad to say about Brandon Woodruff. He's the most frustrated guy in the world when he can't pitch in September and then into October.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's got to prove it not only to himself, but I think he's got to prove it if he does have designs on one last multi-year contract. He's got to stay healthy the entire year.
Yeah, and he's going to get just over $22 million for this next season. And again, that could be brought down with an extension for maybe 2 or 3 years. And, I would have thought Woodruff could have, turned down the qualifying offer and sought that 2 or 3 year deal in the open market. Yeah. I thought he would. I thought it was possible. And it still is. He gets that kind of extension, that kind of multi-year deal. But now it's only going to be with the Brewers. So returning to Milwaukee seemed to be a much bigger priority for him, which is fantastic. It's great for him. It's great for the Brewers to see him coming back. And he was one of 4 players who accepted it yesterday.
I do wonder what his agent told him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the market, you could have like a Dodgers or a Yankees or a Mets or a team that just spends money foolishly because they have a huge margin of error and they just throw money at him and not worry about him if he gets injured the rest of the way. Or maybe, you put some feelers out as agents are supposed to do.
Yeah.
There might not have been a market for a guy who hasn't been healthy, in crunch time.
Yeah. Or at least not to the price tag that they were hoping for, that they were looking for. Because, they had to have used these past, 2 weeks, whatever it was, since he got the qualifying offer to test the market, see, hey, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? But also, there was just something about the team that drafted you and how they stuck with you and being able to stick with them. Because the team that drafted you has so much belief in you, so much invested in you. It's a lot different when you go someplace else.
Like Ben Sheets with the A's.
Yeah, exactly. The A's didn't really care as much about Ben Sheets as the Brewers would have cared about Ben Sheets. But
does this up your chances of Freddie Peralta being moved? Do you look at Freddie Peralta and think that there's more likely a move to be made here because of this Woodruff decision?
Yeah. I think that's certainly possible. That's something that a couple of the insiders have talked about, that it increases those chances. Jeff Passan, I believe, wrote that yesterday. And I think it makes it a little bit more possible. But also we've seen Mark Attanasio come out and say that those are completely independent things. And it's, Woodruff coming back is not going to lead to Peralta getting traded. And, there's a chance, I think, that both of them are here in that rotation. But I will say the chances are improved that Peralta does end up getting moved, because you do have a little bit more security in that rotation with a veteran leader in Woodruff.
See, I'm going to disagree with you on that. I don't think that he gets moved. Well, we'll see. It's just a prediction.
Yeah.
I don't think that Freddie Peralta is going to get moved because of the uncertainty of Brandon Woodruff's health.
Yeah.
I think that you look at Freddie Peralta and the incredible season that he had last year, you're going to have to at least start the season with him and then see how it goes, see how the season is going. If the Brewers are contenders like they have been and, hovering around first place or in first place like they have been for most of the last, decade, I think you keep Freddie Peralta, you roll the dice and see what happens. So one of the things about Mark Attanasio is that, whether it was with Willy Adames, whether it was with Prince Fielder a decade prior to that, if you've got a guy who is headed to free agency, sometimes you just roll the dice with it and hope for the best, as opposed to, all right, now we're going to turn the page and now we're going to
try
to
Willie. They took Willie to free agency.
But Willie was also a position player. And when they've had it with pitchers, they've traded him before. You look at the Josh Haders, the Corbin Burns, the Devin Williams.
But maybe they
traded
knew
them.
something about those pitchers, because pitchers and position players are an entirely different animal.
100%. But that's where Freddie Peralta does lie in that pitcher category.
True. Yeah,
so
you're right.
that makes it
Well,
possible.
what's your preference? Like, what's your preference?
My
What do you
preference is to keep him.
Yeah, my preference is to keep him.
Okay. Well, and that's a fair
But the Brewers don't
perspective,
always
right?
do what my preference
Right.
is.
Matt
So,
Arnold is not, as much as I love to think that he listens to all 4 hours of the show
Yeah.
nonstop and is, maybe posing as one of our talk and text line regulars.
Yeah.
I don't think that he probably is, and I don't think that he really cares what our opinion is, nor should he, because he's the back-to-back MLB Executive of the Year. He's doing something right over there. So I'm
Right.
in Matt, I trust. So if he trades Freddie Peralta, I'm going to go with him on this. He's earned that. But my preference is that Freddie sticks around.
Yeah.
That's an interesting preference. I mean, I think that I don't know how much he impacts winning. I mean, they've had him and he hasn't changed their trajectory in the postseason. I don't think that there's been moments in the playoffs where you look at Freddie and say he stepped up and they won because of him. That's my personal opinion. I think he impacts winning in the regular season, but I don't know if Freddie Peralta is a difference maker enough to hold on to him and not get value for him.
I mean, that's
So
of all the takes, that's one of them.
Yeah, that is a take. So they got eliminated in the postseason because they scored 1 run per game in each game in the NLCS, but I don't know how much.
Well, I get that. So if you're going to hold on to pitching, which I think is a depth for them, they have plenty of depth in that spot, and not move him for potential bats or future bats. Keep rolling it out there. Go with the same approach. Good pitching and poor hitting. That's fine. I mean, that's cool.
I mean, in the regular season, the Brewers had the best run differential in baseball.
Yeah, they had one of the best offenses in all
did.
of baseball.
I'm
didn't-
not challenging their regular season results. I'm challenging their postseason results. That's I
Well, we all
just
want
said
him-
that. I don't know if he changes their
Well, they
trajectory
scored
in the
enough
playoffs.
to beat the Cubs in the playoffs.
No doubt. And the Cubs are not a world-class franchise. The Cubs were not as good as the Brewers this year. I'll admit that. I've admitted it the whole year. I've never once said the Cubs were a better team than them. Of course, I wanted them to beat the Brewers, and they didn't. And the Brewers won that series. That's how it worked, and they were the better team. My problem is if you hold on to him, you take him to free agency, and you don't get anything for him, I think that's a mistake. But I guess they could go to the deadline and make that decision.
Well, I mean, we say that year in and year out, and the Brewers are always competitive at the deadline, and then you can't really trade them at the deadline when you're in first place. I tried.
I
that
just
once
think
with
if you
Hader,
move off of Corbin Burns, who I think is a better player, you would move off of Freddie.
I'm as much of a Corbin Burns stan as anyone. I'm like the complete opposite of Armin in that sense. But you look at them moving off of Corbin Burns, and he was healthy, at the time. You trade him with a year to go, and then he signs his big free agent contract, and then he blows out his elbow.
Freddie's
And pretty
like-
much immediately.
Freddie has barely missed any action in his entire career.
And Corbin
So
Burns
when
has barely missed any action in his entire career
So my
prior
whole
to
point-
blowing out his elbow.
So that my point would be, is it not kind of a ticking time bomb with Freddie?
All
It's
pitchers are ticking
inevitable.
time bombs.
It's inevitable that he's going to have
that's true.
some form of injury that forced him to miss action because he hasn't to this point.
Yeah, it basically is inevitable in this era of pitching. It is going to be inevitable that pitchers are going to have those kinds of major injuries. We saw it with Burns. We saw it with Brandon Woodruff. So yeah, that is something to worry about. And that is why, again, as I pointed out, the risk and why they could trade Freddie Peralta this offseason. Because yeah, you got 1 year left, but if he gets hurt, it's going to completely change everything. In terms of, how you value him, comp picks and, what he could get on the open market, all that stuff. It all could change if he gets hurt. It's completely different if a position player gets hurt. You feel fairly confident they're going to be back to their old selves. But look at Brandon Woodruff. He missed a whole year and a half, and his fastball missed 4 miles an hour on its velocity. So then there are those concerns about him.
Do we know if Freddie's a WBC guy? I assume
he
so. I mean,
He has been. So I don't think he's declared yet officially for this next WBC, but I think that's certainly a possibility.
So listen, I understand what you're saying about October, and we all want the parade down Wisconsin Avenue.
Yeah,
100%. The Brewers, though, I am going to talk about the regular season for a second. There were 2 teams in Major League Baseball that scored over 800 runs this year. Do you want to gather a guess as to who those 2 teams were?
Brewers and the Blue Jays.
You're very close. The Blue Jays scored just under 800 runs this year. The Blue Jays scored 798 runs
Come on.
this year.
Phillies.
No, it's the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
825 runs scored.
Yeah,
The
three
Phillies
Hall of
scored
Famers.
778. So there were two teams. The Brewers scored 806 runs. The Dodgers scored 19 runs more than them, 825. It was the Dodgers who eliminated, obviously, as we all know, the Brewers in the postseason. So the one team that eliminated the Brewers, the one team that won the World Series, that was the only team that was better than the Brewers in scoring runs this season. Scoring runs wasn't necessarily a problem with the Brewers this season, nor was their pitching when you look at their run differential.
So, I mean, I guess if you want to take it at that and look at it from that angle, flip the perspective here. If they are scoring that many runs, they can take the risk of moving off of Freddie Peralta and rolling with the young arms. If they're going to score
I don't know
a bunch
why you
of
would,
runs,
though, because what are you going to get? I mean, you're going to get prospects back in return, probably. You're not,
Yeah.
I mean,
But you're going to want someone big league ready.
you're going to
help
want
out.
somebody big league ready. I'm just saying, if it's my preference, and listen, I'm not Matt Arnold, I'm not Mark Atanasio. It's not my decision, but my preference is to have your ace back at the top of your rotation. Someone who has been a Bulldog, someone who has been good to the organization, someone who did sign a long-term contract years ago before he had to, someone who does take the ball every 5 days. That's who I want.
it's a fair perspective. And I think that, you know, my initial pushback was maybe certainly overly aggressive. Of course, you want to have the best players on your team annually. That makes the most sense, obvious. But I just think if you're looking at how they've gotten to this point, it's been by being savvy and by making moves before they don't get as much value in return. So if Freddie's on the team, they're a better team day one. I maybe I have blind faith in how they've operated that no matter who they roll out there, they're going to be fine on the mound. And if you can get value, you get value when you can.
33 starts, 17-6, 2.7 ERA.
It was his best year.
I mean, 204 strikeouts, a whip of 1.08. That's hard to replicate.
It is. You know, even as much as I love the Chad Patricks and Tobias Myerses of the
Quinn
world,
Priesters.
the Quinn Priesters, yeah. I'd still rather have Freddie as the lead in that rotation. And if you can have Freddie and Woodruff as a 1-2 punch, I mean, that's elite. That's fantastic. And it's still a combined like $30 million for those two guys. And some may look at that as like, oh, that's a lot to have in two players. But
no, it's not.
For the quality of those two players, that is still a bargain.
That is a bargain. In today's Major League Baseball, that's not a lot of money for two. Again, for Woody, it's all about being healthy.
Yeah.
For Freddie, if this team is a contender, as I anticipate they will be, and Freddie's, I just think that when you sell off someone of Freddie's caliber before a season starts, and they've done this in the past, they did it with Corbin Burns, you're running a risk. You're running a real risk of not being able to kind of square that circle when the season rolls around. And to your point, Nick, and you're right, they've been extremely wise when it comes to getting rid of guys too early as opposed to too late. Whether it's
Devin Williams has no value, right?
Right. Whether it's
Devin,
Devin, I mean, Josh Hader has no value right now, pretty much. Corbin Burns is on the shelf. Really expensive piece of the Arizona Diamondbacks puzzle that isn't able to pitch. So I understand where you're coming from, Nick. I just disagree with it in this case.
So, I mean, we're 13 minutes into the first mention of Dave's update. What else do we got?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Brewers had no prospects for the 40-man roster at the Rule 5 protection deadline. Not entirely surprised. The Brewers also lost their AAA pitching coach, Justin Message. He is now going to join the San Francisco Giants and Tony Vitello's staff as their primary pitching coach.
Okay.
And
that's
Message,
a nice glow up.
Yeah, he was a bullpen coach for Pittsburgh for a couple of years, and his nephew is Brewers pitching prospect Bryce Message.
Oh, okay. So where he was at Nashville.
Yes, he was at Nashville.
And Vitello was the Vanderbilt coach.
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Never mind. Well, same state though.
Yeah, same state. Okay. Knoxville,
close
not
enough.
Nashville, but
yeah, I mean it's across the state.
Yeah.
All right.
A little bit up the road, but yeah. Then let's see. The Orioles made a trade acquiring outfielder Taylor Ward from the Angels for pitcher Grayson Rodriguez. So a little bit of hot stove movement there. In the NFL, Jamar Chase's 1-game suspension has been upheld by Jordy Nelson, making the decision and saying, hey, man, you get a suspension for that.
Love that.
So Jordy
I love
Nelson
that Jordy
doing
Nelson's
work.
involved. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
Giannis is out 1 to 2 weeks with that groin strain. And last night, the college football playoff rankings came out. Georgia moves up to number 4. Texas is out after their loss. And Tulane is the group of 5 team that makes the final spot.
Just like we all had picked.
Yep.
Good for
Tulane
them.
ranks 24th on the top 25 on the college football playoff rankings, but they're the highest ranked group of 5 team. So they get that 12th and final spot.
Green Wave.
Yeah, the Tulane Green Wave.
Okay.
Former Packer quarterback Michael Pratt.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there we go.
They beat USC in the Sugar. It's not Sugar Bowl. Cotton Bowl. Yeah.
And what a great comeback that was. I just saw the replay of that this morning.
Oh, yeah.
That made me sick.
Very nice. So
USC just played but I don't get mad about it because USC just played like crap and they didn't deserve to win.
Yeah.
They like crap, don't deserve to win. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we'll see if Texas Tech sits that way, because Texas Tech would be currently slated to face Tulane in the current college football playoff bracket. We would also have Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Miami, Ole Miss, and Alabama, Oregon as your first-round matchups in the college football playoff based on last night's rankings.
Dan in West Bend writes, I am Matt Arnold. I knew it.
I knew it, Dan.
I knew it, Dan.
All right, Matt, what are you going to do with Freddie Peralta?
Yeah.
Let
us know.
Tell us, Dan in West Bend.
All right. We got anything else? Did we cover it all?
No, we've covered it.
All right. Let's take a short time out. Matt LaFleur on the other side, meeting the media in Green Bay. Hopefully we'll get an update on Josh Jacobs. Stay with us. Also, Toyotathon is here, or at least almost here.
Yeah.
What will that mean for the Packers? What will that mean for their quarterback? Also, Bill Belichick. What are we doing? I feel like a broken record every time I mention Bill Belichick's name. It's like, seriously, what are we
Come
doing?
on, man.
What are we doing? I mean, honestly, you're making a fool of your damn self.
Yeah.
He's kind of, who he's kind of going? He's kind of going all Curly Lambeau.
A little bit.
In a sense.
A little bit.
We'll hit that coming up. But Matt LaFleur on the other side as he meets the media in Green Bay ahead of today's midweek, first of the week practice, getting set for the Minnesota Vikings coming up on Sunday. If you're in Milwaukee, you can listen to the game on the Big 95.7. If you're in Madison, you listen to the game on 1310 WIBA as well as 101.5 WIBA FM or around the state of Wisconsin, wherever you may be on the Packers radio network. There's like 52 stations. I can't mention them all. Stay with us. It's D&D on the game.
You are listening to D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a number 2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles perform live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Good times, bad times, I've had my share. When my woman left home for a blind man, but I still don't seem to care.
In February of 69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to number 1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at number 2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are number 1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. Electric Hospital, and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to number 1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to number 1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you my friend? Said I'm gonna try it with them too.
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, backed with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968 coming up.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to get a feel for when it all began for him musically.
I was about 10 years old. I was given a Spanish guitar for Christmas. And so, I wanted a drum kit, but I ended up getting a Spanish guitar. And I guess things sort of just turned around from then.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
It's D.N.D. on the game. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, and Dave Gasper. On this Wednesday, November 19th, it's the Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings Sunday at noon. I'll get things started with Packers game day at 8 a.m. If you're listening in Milwaukee on the big 95.7. If you're listening in Madison, we do that show on 1070 The Game. Or you can just listen worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. From 8 until 10 live from Lambeau Field. All right, speaking of Lambeau Field, that's where Packers head coach Matt LaFleur is. He's meeting the media ahead of today's first practice of the week, getting set for the aforementioned Minnesota Vikings.
Read social media. He's going to start practicing.
You guys good? All right. Thanks, Matt. You guys good? Yes, we are. So a couple of takeaways there from Matt LaFleur's news conference. Jaden Reed not yet cleared to practice yet. Jaden Reed seems to think, or at least he tweeted on his social medias that, I'm kind of getting ready,
Getting closer,
getting anxious. LaFleur said, I know he's excited to get back out there, but didn't say exactly when that might be. Also, as we just heard Josh Jacobs practice today, but he's day to day, not really enough for Sunday either. But we have a plan. You have a plan for Josh Jacobs? Yes. Can you share that with us?
No. Well, once you give me the job, I'll give you the plan.
Yeah.
Well, how do we have the
to
plan?
try and get him healthy enough to go? It's going to be a day by day thing, and we'll see how he progresses.
That sounds like but listen. One thing about LaFleur, in all college or all football coaches, whether it's college, they feel like they're holding states, right? Some of these guys, if they weren't football coaches, they could have gone into the CIA.
Yeah.
Or as
Can't tell you that.
closely.
That's classified.
Can't talk about that. I will go to my death rather than tell you whether or not Josh Jacobs is going to play on Sunday. We'll let you know on Sunday. We'll let you know when the enactments come out. It's 90 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah.
So, just a few minutes with Matt LaFleur. We'll have Matt LaFleur on Friday.
There we go.
Chuck Freeman's going to come up in about an hour or so. As State is here in Madison. 7 games tomorrow and Friday, 4 tomorrow, and then 3 on Friday. Brewster Spite's coming up at the 1 o'clock hour. We've got another sports update with Dave Casper coming up at the top of the 12 o'clock hour. And Kim Scatterboom. Is there anyone who's more New Jersey? I know he's not from New Jersey, but he probably should be from New Jersey because I wouldn't even call it a controversy. I just think this can be a hit. And we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on in the program as well. Also, what is the role that you play in your family's Thanksgiving dynamics? And I mean, that holiday's coming up. Do you get together with family? Do you try to avoid your family? You know, the busiest night I don't know if it's true anymore, but at movie theaters, you used to work at movie theaters, Dave.
I did.
So you know the answer to this. The busiest night that you guys ever had at the movie theater was when?
Around Thanksgiving.
It was Thanksgiving night.
Yeah.
Statistics show that people just want to get away from their families and not talk to them. Where do you go? You go to a movie where you have to sit in a quiet room for 2 hours.
Yeah. The one Thanksgiving I worked when I was at the Frozen 2 came out.
Wow. Let it be, man. Let it go.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go. I'm thinking the Beatles.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it completely different. Let it be.
I would love to hear Paul McCartney do Let It Go.
Yeah.
Or Kristen Bell sing Let It Be. Whichever.
Yeah. That'd be
These are all great options.
Yeah, we need that kind of crossover.
I think Adina Menzel might sing Let It Go.
Yeah.
Adele Dazeem, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Travolta.
Yeah.
Close enough, man. I mean, there's a lot going on here. Movies. What movie even is there right now that people need to see on Thanksgiving?
We did
is out.
Saw the Springsteen movie.
Oh, there you go. How was
it? Okay.
All right.
It was all about how he went from being this worldwide pop star to like, all right, so what do I want to do next? And that's how the Nebraska came out. Because if you know anything about the trajectory of Springsteen in the 70s, huge. He was selling out stadiums and arenas. That was the era of the river, the era of some of the great songs off of the Born to Run album. But he needed something to bridge himself into the 80s, and that turned out to be the Nebraska album, which was, really dark. The song Nebraska is about a serial killer.
Oh, lovely.
But that's what came from some of those who became Born in the USA, which was one of his albums as well. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White, I thought, did a really nice job.
That's good. Yeah.
But we finally went to go see the movie.
There we go. Maybe we need to get Matt one of these days.
I'll have to get Matt on.
Him, but,
because
got a new Now You See Me that's out. The second ticket is out.
I'll see the third edition of Now You See Me.
Okay.
I think Isla Fisher's back in it. She missed the second movie.
Sure. I don't
she's
know.
in the third
Possible.
one. It's a good film. It
Yeah,
was
they're good.
my little
They're
favorite.
entertaining.
We'll get that. So
Yeah.
do that. All right. We'll also take more of your messages on the talk text line 877-794-1973. We need to hear about some of your messed up things that we were talking about earlier in the program as well. We'll tie it all together. We still got about 2 hours and 20 minutes to go to kind of put a bow on this thing and send it off all over to the library like we always do.
Oh, yeah.
This has been an interesting show.
It really has.
It really has.
But it's been fun.
It has been fun. That's what we try to do. That's what
next. Fun facts with Dave.
Yes. Giannis is going to be out for a couple weeks. We'll talk about that coming up as well. Fun at all. All right. D.N.D. Doug, Nick, Dave, on the game. Stay with us.
Day 2.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West. I'm here to take you on a journey back this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1914. Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut, pitching a 4-3 Boston Red Sox win over the Cleveland Nats at Fenway Park. This week in 1934, Carl Hubble strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in succession. The American League comes back to win the All-Star game 9-7 at the Polo Grounds. Staying in baseball this week in 1955, St. Louis's Dan Musial hit Frank Sullivan's first pitch of the 12th inning for a home run to give the National League All-Star team a 6-5 victory over the American League at Milwaukee's County Stadium. The American League had led 5-0 after 6 innings. This week in 1972, Robert Irsay buys the stock of the LA Rams for $19 million and swaps the franchise for the Baltimore Colts. Players and coaches are not affected. This week in 1999, Team USA wins the Women's World Cup over China in sudden death. The Americans win 5-4 in penalty kicks, with defender Brandy Chastain kicking the game winner. And this week in 2010, Brian McCann's 3-run double in the 7th inning provided the National League all the offense it needed to capture its first Midsummer Classic since 1996 with a 3-1 victory.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their 5th album, Houses of the Holy, goes to the one in the U.S. and the UK, and yields the top 40 hit Dire Maker. The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Running and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album, with the singles Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of 73, George Harrison scores the number 1 single, Give Me Love, from the number 1 album, Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to number 1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me, and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen. The Affirmative Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to number 2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1972.
He was singing bye, bye, whiskey, this will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water. Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to #1 and yields a #1 single with Horse with No Name.
I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rod Stewart to clarify what he meant when saying, "A person I used to know," wrote Maggie May. "You Wear It Well," Mandolin Wind, and Forever Young.
That was probably during the period where I thought that songwriting had somehow gone away and eluded me, showed off somewhere. I'd look back in wonderment and think, how did I write these songs? Because some of them are pretty good. But then I had to bring up my old mate Jim Cregan again. He came along and he inspired everything. He was the catalyst. So it fired up the required elements in me to start writing again.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Rod Stewart and all your favorite artists.
It's D.N.D. for Wednesday. Nick and Dave. The NicolayLaw.com talking text line always open to you at 877-794-1973. Chuck Freeman will join us in less than an hour from now. Football Friday night. State is tomorrow and Friday at Camp Randall Stadium. If you've never been to State, I would recommend it because I think State's fun.
Yeah.
You get to see all of the high school kids that are there, and especially if your team is in it. If your team's not in it, my team's been in it. I say my team. We've been there once in my lifetime. It was when I was 10. So it was
been a while.
They're due. Well, I would say they're due, but I don't know.
Won't you can go back.
Although
the head coach leads the victories they need.
Well, I'm not a football coach. One. Number two, our former football coach is at State right now with Arrowhead. Matt Harris, who Waukesha Guam, saw what was in front of him. He's coached 2 NFL players, Coach Radike, Coach Will McDonald, and now he's at Arrowhead, and they're at State.
Yep. There you go.
No, I mean, it's Arrowhead.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Billy's got to be proud.
Billy's got to be proud. He's
there.
So I get it. If you have the opportunity, I told Matt this because he was like, "You okay with you going over to Arrowhead?" Like he didn't need my permission by any stretch of any.
He needed your blessing.
He didn't. Well, but he didn't. But he asked. I said, "Listen, I get it. You're going over to Arrowhead. You got all the advantages in the world. You got state-of-the-art high school facilities, maybe the best high school facilities in the state. You got the backing of the entire community there, Waukesha North. So he's doing very well for himself. So I will, by extension, be rooting for Arrowhead. Even though I'm not an Arrowhead guy, but I'm, Matt's a good guy.
Yeah, there you go.
I wish him well.
Arrowhead.
I will not. Oh, I'll be here.
Metaphorically.
Metaphorically, sure.
Yeah.
I'll be here. We'll have games on it.
Oh, yeah.
Be able to watch. They're the last.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that. We'll talk to Chuck coming up a little bit less than an hour from now. On the talking text line, let's see. Your role, Salon. He writes his role is to relax, socialize, and drink for Thanksgiving. What is your role, Dave?
Oh, man, I wish I had that. So my role, well, at least this year Thanksgiving, it's going to be the one who shows up late after the pack games. Dinner can actually start once I'm finally there. My role is to eat 3 plates of food and then fall into a food coma while everyone else is cleaning up and doing other stuff. So I'm just
so you're the sloth.
Kind of, yeah.
That's your role is the sloth.
Basically, yeah.
My role is the guy who complains about the food because I just
Yep.
And then you make pizza.
And then I make my own. And then everybody kind of looks at me and is like, "You're really still doing that?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm really 12? No, but here's how I lay this out. new to this, listen, if you're not new to my disdain for Thanksgiving food, I apologize because I'm plowing over, all of the grass. That having been said, in this wonderful country of ours, where we have all the freedoms that you could possibly ever want, that you could, have your own manifest destiny, that you could, if you are someone who immigrates to our country, $10 in your pocket, you can become a billionaire like Mark Lazarus, for example. With all of the wonderful freedoms that we have, we celebrate that on Thanksgiving. We celebrate how our ancestors came over and we became a country, and we're thankful for that. And when you're the most thankful, you should be able to celebrate it however you want with whatever you want to have to eat. And if that's turkey, that's fine, I suppose, but would you have it any time else? Would you have turkey and cranberries and the green bean casserole, which is disgusting? Would you have any of that in July? Would you have it for your birthday? Would you have it for any other day of the year other than somebody with really good marketing told you this is what you have to have on Thanksgiving? Because we've been brainwashed as a society that we have to have this crap every, last Thursday of every November. We have been brainwashed by somebody who says, know what? Cranberries good for Thanksgiving. Oh, green bean casserole? Absolutely. You know when we should have that? Thanksgiving. The marketing has been incredible for Thanksgiving food. It's all garbage.
All right.
I would never have a turkey leg at any other, it would never be offered to me any other day of the year.
Not even at a state fair, huh? Not even at
no, if I'm going to the state fair, it's going to be something. Going to the state fair, I'm having something deep fried on a stick, and it ain't going to be turkey.
Well, you said it's not going to be offered to you. It's available. It's offered to you. You just take it.
No,
I mean, I've always wondered when that
turkey is dry and flavorless, and
that's what you have gravy for.
You're nasty. And what is gravy? Gravy is just sauce.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
Sauce is for.
Yeah,
sauce is the.
You got to get lost in the sauce here, Doug.
So, okay, well, you make your pizza without
it's
sauce.
Just gravy on top. You know what makes
I would rather have pizza sauce. I had to have turkey sauce on turkey because I like that better than the gravy.
You want like tomato sauce, marinara sauce on.
So my wife asked me what, because my birthday, didn't get to celebrate it last weekend. Just things like this. So my in-laws wanted to take me out for my birthday just later. And so we're going to do it this weekend. And they suggested Mexican. I don't mind. Mexican food is fine.
Yeah.
But if it's my birthday and I'm choosing, we're doing Italian because that's what I like. If it's your birthday, you can have whatever you want. Be there with bells on. And if you want turkey on your birthday, which no one does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Slightly judging you, but go for it.
Slightly judging you, but okay.
My birthday, I generally go with steak.
Steak's great. Yeah, steak is great. Steak's awesome. Steak is a wonderful.
Popeyes is doing turkey these days. Did you do that?
No.
What?
I'm not trusting Popeyes.
Popeyes is doing turkey. You just schedule it in advance. You pick up your Popeyes turkey on day of.
We have been brainwashed thinking that turkey and stuffing and green bean casserole and cranberry. We have been brainwashed into thinking that this stuff is any good. It's just hot garbage.
Okay. See, you seem like someone who would throw turkeys out of the helicopter for the great turkey drop.
As God is my witness, I knew they'd splat on the ground.
I mean,
and that's why I make pizza on Thanksgiving. That's the moral. That's the moral of the story.
It's tradition. I just eat it. It's tradition.
Hour number 2, it used to be a tradition too. Hour number 3 is coming up straight ahead. Stay with us.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now. I like more. 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 5.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taking Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know what I want to go through.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers had the number 1 album, The Heat Was On, driven by the number 4 single, Fight for Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to number 9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to number 12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the number 1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Frog had to have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to number 1 in the US and the UK.
How we found same old thing. Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits number 1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. In at least 18 weeks at number 1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits number 19 on the charts with a cover of The Prince Really Got Me, to the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Martin Smith released their 3rd album, Easter. It goes to number 20. Their single Because the Night goes to number 13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer, Gus Dudgeon, and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up, and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie Taupin. And he would give me a lyric. And I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant, and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic. And I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then, could I'd wake the band up because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe we write 2, but mostly 1. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the Game.
Woo!
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's back. Big Woo is back in Milwaukee, accepting the $22 million qualifying
bombs
offer
for another year.
Yeah, totally not going to be DH4. But he was one of 4 players yesterday who accepted the qualifying offer, including Gleyber Torres of the Tigers, Trent Grisham, old friend of the New York Yankees, a career 218 hitter, signed the qualifying offer from the Yankees there, returns, and Shota Imanaga returning to the Cubs, Nick.
Yeah, happy to hear it. I think that starting pitching was a major problem for them this year, and Shota has proven to be pretty good when he's not giving up home runs, as you show or played back a home run there from Woody. Cubs got to do what they got to do, man. I was fearful that they were just going to pack it in for this season and then try and figure out things after the lockout. So at least in the regard here, the player decided to stick around.
Yeah, but Kyle Tucker likely won't be. He
he's
declined his qualifying offer, and he will hit the open market. And sounds like Kyle Tucker's not returning to Chicago.
That's okay. Wasn't a good fit. I think that his production was frustrating, certainly for the majority of the second half of the year. Somehow he gets a Silver Slugger, so that's good.
Yeah, good for him. And he'll get several $100 million from someone else this offseason. In further MLB news, they are set to announce their new TV deals today with NBC, Netflix, and ESPN. So NBC will become the new home of the first round of the playoffs and Sunday Night Baseball.
Interesting.
And Netflix will get a standalone primetime game on opening day, the Home Run Derby, and the Field of Dreams game. So that's all going to be on Netflix.
Okay.
And ESPN gets the rights to out-of-market games for all 30 MLB teams and 6 in-market clubs. So those 6 clubs, you would think, Yankees, Dodgers, and Cubs.
But ESPN was getting out of the baseball business.
Oh, I thought so, but they wanted to get back in. I guess it's just going to be a different kind of deal. But the 6 in-market rights that ESPN gets are the Colorado Rockies, the Minnesota Twins, the Arizona Diamondbacks, San Diego Padres, and Cleveland Guardians. And Seattle Mariners. So these are the teams that they lost their local TV rights. So it's been MLB TV that runs them and runs their broadcasts for fans to watch. So ESPN
now ESPN Plus.
Basically is what it's going to be. But ESPN has not decided how it will sell MLB.TV, which is how those rights have been distributed recently. But it's expected to be at the same $150 per year that subscribers paid when it was under the league's control.
Just as long as Colorado Rockies fan can find the games for them.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
That poor Colorado Rockies fan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just rough life over there. But so some big news in the TV world there for baseball. The Browns have officially named Shedeur Sanders their starter this week as Dylan Gabriel remains in concussion protocol. The Falcons, they've lost quarterback Michael Penix Jr. He just underwent ACL surgery on his left knee today. He is out for the remainder of the season. And football is going back to Brazil next season. NC State and Virginia will be heading down to Brazil, and they're going to be playing a game next season.
Are they going to be playing it in Sao Paulo, or are they going to be playing in Rio?
I have not seen details as to where exactly, just that it will be in Brazil.
Okay.
So I'm guessing perhaps one of the spots that the NFL has played, probably Sao Paulo or Brazil. One of the
Don't
bigger
invite
cities there.
Ryan Lochte.
Yeah, I don't think Ryan Lochte is going to get invited. I don't know why he would, but
he's famous around those parts.
Yeah.
NC State and Virginia.
Redemption tour.
I just started watching the first season of The Traitors on Peacock, and he's part of the cast.
Oh, nice.
So
I was a Lochte guy.
Acting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reality TV show.
You know, you were such a rascal, you know, as a youth, Nick, as you've told us about. So it's not surprising that you were a Lochte guy.
Well, you know, he was an American swimmer. He was trying to, you know, Phelps is phasing out. Lochte might be that next guy. And it you know, he never really panned out to be a star.
It was just all the nonsense out of the pool, I suppose. I was going to say off the field. That's not really a field.
Not quite.
But there was just always this underlying, I'm an idiot. And I'm going to play up the fact that I'm an idiot. Which I don't know that he was an idiot. I mean, he was a highly trained athlete.
Yeah,
but
he's not exclusive.
But he played up to it. He you know, which
you don't have to be wealthy, but it's swimming to be that good and be at the highest level. There's a lot of resources needed, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's just kind of been maybe a spoiled gentleman his entire life, right there.
I don't know, because there are certain sports that are more expensive than others, and I don't know that swimming is the most expensive sport there is. You just need a pool.
No, it's cheap at the base level, but I think my argument would be just the resources to get to be the best in the world. I mean, you heard Phelps trained every day for 6 hours for how many straight years? I mean, that's a lot of money has to go into that.
Yeah.
If you're
there's training, that you got to do in time, but
if you're good enough, you wind up going to the Colorado Springs where they have the aquatic center.
Yeah.
He Lochte, born in Rochester, New York, grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida. So, you know, he's just a Florida man.
Okay.
He's just another one of those Florida man stories that you see all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to like some of those guys like Phelps, I mean, 6'4", he's like double jointed and like all this stuff. Like it's just a physical
anomalies,
abnormalities
in his body, but he's the greatest of all time. I mean, I think that might be. I mean, if Victor Wembanyama ends up being a superstar, and there's arguments about him being one of the greatest of all time, I mean, physically, there aren't many humans on the earth that are what he is. Similar to Giannis.
The video of him dunking over Draymond, where Draymond's just like trying to like, you know, body him up and then just alley-oop, and he just basically just stands there, grabs it, throws it down.
We
it's
see
like
that's why I will never say, well, there will never be another whomever. There will never be another Michael Jordan. There will never be another LeBron James. There will never be another Michael Phelps. You don't know that. There might be.
Possible.
Could be.
There always could be.
Might take a while. We thought there would never be another Babe Ruth, and now here's Shohei Ohtani, who's doing that far better than Babe Ruth ever did.
Never say that there could never possibly be another.
Never say never.
Because somebody is going to challenge that, and Victor Wembanyama might be that guy, just that athletic freak who can do everything on a basketball court. And by the way, he's larger than everyone else.
Yeah. And, you know,
he could be Victor Wembanyama could be the greatest of all time when all is said and done. And there won't be a debate about it.
Yeah.
Not there yet.
No, but
you got to stay healthy. I mean,
a lot of things have to happen. He has to have team success. The Spurs have to be really, really good. You've got to, surround himself with good teammates like Michael Jordan did, and LeBron James did, and Kobe Bryant did, and Shaquille O'Neal did, and Dwayne Wade did. All of the great players in basketball history surrounded themselves with great teammates. Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, John Havlicek from those great Celtics teams. A lot of things have to happen for you to be considered the GOAT. And, team success is a huge part of that. But, the jury is still well out. They haven't even presented the case yet.
I don't even think they've picked the jury yet.
Yeah.
We got ways to go.
But it could happen.
It could. It's possible. Maybe they'll call him the French freak, like they call Giannis the Greek freak.
Gotta call him something else.
Yeah.
There's
got to get more creative with the nickname. I mean, Wemby is just kind of.
But that's his name. It's a play off of his name. The reason that they called Giannis the Greek freak is that nobody knew how to pronounce his name.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes
They've
sense.
been calling him the Alien.
Okay.
That's solid.
And he has a shoe brand now that's based off of alien imagery. So
okay.
You can lean into that.
Is it the little green men? Like how,
you can go out to Roswell.
There's so many different ways that you could have the alien imagery because no one knows.
They lean into it, and if you go to New Mexico, they kind of lean into the whole alien thing.
Oh, 100%.
So
as they should, because what else is there to do in New Mexico?
White Sands National Park is in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Carlsbad Caverns
visit
National
the
Park.
home of
Walter
Mason
White.
Posa.
Oh, no.
Sure.
Yeah, home of Mason Posa, also the home of Walter White out there in Albuquerque.
My Uncle Ken lives in New Mexico.
Sure.
Go visit Uncle Ken.
There you go.
New Mexico. Gosh.
Yeah. Go to the Four Corners.
You can do that. You can stand in, 4 states at the same time.
Yeah, I did that once.
How do you stand in? I mean,
because
you put half a foot in each on each
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because there's
Gotcha.
a point
I
where,
wasn't sure if you were
the 4 corners.
If
they
you
intersect.
really wanted to, you could, Nick.
That's all I was saying. I wasn't
That's
sure
what,
if you were
well,
like
there
doing
was, is there anything else to do there? No. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Not much, yeah. Basically, just
like
trying
what
to have a
happens
bunch
if
of
like
sand.
if you're being pursued by a law enforcement officer in one of those states? Can you
Well,
jump states? You no
Yeah.
longer have jurisdiction.
You see that there all the time. No, you don't.
No.
So you just
out of your
dive
jurisdiction.
over. Yeah, you dive over the boundary, and you're now in the other state. You not
can't
your
get me.
jurisdiction.
You're actually
Yeah.
on Navajo land, so
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
different. There are different rules.
Yeah, tribal police is going to come get
Yeah,
you.
and tribal police.
They
does
don't play.
Well, they don't. Number one, they don't play, and they also don't recognize or are required to recognize the state boundaries.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
If it's the
So-
Navajo Nation, you may be standing in 4 states at the same time, but you're in Navajo country,
Yeah,
and there are treaties.
there are.
Just saying.
So you're not going to win. You're
So
going to get thrown into another box, just like middle
Dang
school.
it. Can't put me in a box.
But they did.
but they did, as we
That's
found
right.
out earlier. Did we get everything there, Dave?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
To the talk and text line. Let's see. Mailman Jeff, have you seen the new National Lampoon's Vacation? No. The go to Thanksgiving dinner is cranberries from the can, that red slime gelatin. No.
I have seen the movie, and that's where I'm basing my opinion on that. I loosely remember that being part of it.
Oh, is that
They go to
the one
fork-
with Christina Applegate?
Ed Helms.
And
Yeah.
Ed Helms? That's like 10
Yep.
years old.
Yeah. Is that
yeah.
new?
But it's the
I mean, I
newest.
guess the newest.
Yeah. Yeah. But something happens there at the Four Corners. I don't remember what, but something does.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Unnamed in the 920 says, I agree with Russ Douglas on this one. It's just Doug. Thanksgiving meal, highly overrated. Turkey is ass.
Whoa.
Flavorless, dry meat that no one can ever cook properly. Rather have fried chicken or anything else.
Well, read the text above that.
Or I
Okay.
could be in
Wait.
denial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wayne in Nash Vegas, the turkey from Popeyes is great. It's deep fried and juicy and tender. That's what I used to do until I got my Traeger. Now
Huh.
I smoke mine.
Do you have it in July or January or?
I'll occasionally have turkey sandwiches.
Okay.
You know,
See,
sometimes with
there's-
the with,
I have cold cut turkey every day of my life.
So there's.
wait every day.
Wow.
I eat the almost identical lunch every day I pack for work. It's a turkey, ham, and cheese and
Okay.
bread. That's what I eat.
Processed meats aren't the best thing in the world for you, but they're not
I
bad.
love the salt. The
It's so
sodium's
young.
great for you.
The preservatives are all fantastic. Yeah. It's yeah, no, like turkey sandwich, like sometimes like for the Packer games, we get the cousin subs and they got the turkey sandwiches in there and I'll grab a couple.
Okay. I will say that if the turkey cold cut sandwiches are passable, they're not my favorite, but they're passable. But like when somebody just drops a bird on your plate,
Yeah.
turkey's ass.
Compared to the other birds
I mean,
that we'd eat.
Yeah, I mean, chicken is okay. I like chicken.
Yeah, chicken's good. Yeah, I could eat chicken pretty much every
What
single
about
day.
duck?
I don't know that I've had duck.
Yeah.
Zach and
Duck's not too
Sheboygan.
shabby.
Zach and Sheboygan writes, I do not like holidays in general. Okay. Thanksgiving is cool because I partake in 420 festivities. You do you. But Doug is definitely the Grinch of Thanksgiving. Listen, I'm a Thanksgiving truther is what I am. I'm the one guy. And I've started to get a little bit more support on this over the years. That if you look at just Thanksgiving food, traditional Thanksgiving food, it is the benefit of decades, maybe centuries of outstanding marketing. I will, hats off to the turkey lobby. Hats off to the folks who are pushing green bean casserole and that gelatin slop cranberry garbage on you, because they've got you schnocked into believing that it's actually something that is edible and something that you like, because I promise you, you don't. You don't like it. You feel like you need to eat it because it's Thanksgiving and it's tradition.
Well, give some thanks, Doug. It's Thanksgiving.
Oh, I love Thanksgiving. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving thanks by eating something that's actually tasty. That's my thank.
I'm giving thanks to the Italians.
I'm giving thanks to the freedom to choose to not have to eat this garbage that's put in front of me. This garbage bird, this garbage gelatin, this garbage. Oh, we got green beans, but they're soggy. So let's just put them in some sort of baked thing. And then just make them even soggier.
I'm with you on the green bean casseroles. Terrible. No thanks. 0 out of 10.
Okay.
No stars.
Stuffing
pies,
is
I like
wet
rolls.
bread.
Yeah.
You got to eat through the stuff to get to the other stuff, and the other stuff's good. The desserts are all good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the desserts are really good.
Well, except for pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie's trash.
What?
Oh, okay,
man. Okay.
It's bordering on like.
Okay, now this is getting a little bit out of hand.
It's okay.
Doug,
I wasn't a pumpkin guy. I was not a pumpkin pie kid, and then I grew up and I realized that flavors and it's pretty good. So now
Cherry pie. Give me a cherry pie or an apple pie. Is there nothing more American than apple pie? Thank you. The answer is no. There's nothing more American than apple pie.
Baseball.
I will have
Chevrolet.
Sure.
Fireworks.
Yeah. And apple pie.
Freedom.
That's freedom.
That's right.
Nothing says Thanksgiving in America better than the most American dessert you can possibly have, and that's apple pie.
Yeah. I love apple pie. Darn right. There we go. Again, I'm not going to hate on apple pie. The apple pie, yeah, fantastic. I will definitely have some. But also pumpkin pie is very good as well. But yeah, the mashed potatoes I love. I mean, I will get several servings of mashed potatoes because how can you not love potatoes? You get corn in there as well. You get rolls.
Yeah,
got all the
corn has no nutritional value, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah,
well, it's still tasty.
It's healthy for you because your body doesn't break it down. That's why
Back row Beth writes on the talking text line, at our Thanksgiving, everyone makes their own pizza. I make the crust I make all the crust by all the toppings, and everyone builds their own. Now that's Thanksgiving right there. You know what America is? America's choice. America is, manifest destiny. America is, make your own way.
Yeah.
Or in this case, make your own pizza.
There you go. Make your own Italian food. That's
Sure.
America.
Yeah.
That's amore.
Joe in Pike Lake. Some people turkey hunt, you child of the asphalt.
Child of the asphalt. Now that's a fantastic.
Listen, I get wild turkeys running through my yard literally every day.
Oh yeah, I see them all the time. There are turkeys all around where I live, and coyotes.
Let's see. Matt in Racine, Doug the Plug. I don't know what that. I know there's a Doug the Pug. Maybe he just misspelled. Speaks for everyone.
No, you're the plug. A plug is like the guy that's got you. Like, he's my plug. He's got my drugs. He's got my whatever I need. He's the plug.
Tell this. Oh, well, he also says, tell this plug to chill out. Nobody wants to hear the yelling.
Wow.
Well, no one. I mean, you're starting to convert some people. Aaron from Fondy, converting him. Jim and Oshkosh, 101% correct on Thanksgiving food.
Trash.
Madtown Ryan brings lasagna every year to Thanksgiving.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
You don't get everything you want in life, though. So Thanksgiving is a good, necessary lesson annually for young people, that they don't always get what they want. They can't always have pizza and burgers and tacos. Okay?
But also
turkey and you're going to like it.
Yeah, but also there's a bunch of other sides as well. So you can at least have something with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, have little pizza slices. Have little,
I don't consider that a side, but sure.
It can be.
Can be. But
like little pizza pockets. You could have, that you serve at the Super Bowl. Whatever you would eat for the Super Bowl, I think is what you should eat. The Super Bowl is another quintessential American holiday. Whatever you eat for the Super Bowl, I think you should have on Thanksgiving because America, choice.
America. Freedom. We need a bald eagle screeching somewhere. Do we have that in the sound?
Probably do.
I don't know.
But that's,
yeah,
that's where I'm at with that.
That's where, yeah. And, Thanksgiving, I just look forward to it because I can just eat a bunch. Sure. You gotta have the stretchy pants, gotta have the sweatpants, to have a lot of room. I don't want to dress up nice for Thanksgiving, where it's because you got so much food that you got to eat. You gotta have some room there in the waistband, because otherwise it's going to get very uncomfortable very quickly.
Madtown Ryan writes, it's not brainwashing, it's just tradition. But I agree, I do not like Thanksgiving food. And that's the one who brings lasagna every year to Thanksgiving so he can eat. So, I mean, I think there's some brainwashing that's involved with this. Because I think we should all think for ourselves. And Dave, you brought up the steak. If whatever you would have, listen, if you're going to get the chair the next day and the warden says, what's your last meal going to be? Ain't nobody picking turkey.
Probably not.
Nobody's picking green bean casserole. Nobody's picking that sloppy gelatin. Nobody's picking any of that. So when you do celebrate your freedom, as opposed to the day before you get the chair, you should pick what you want to eat.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, there was this guy in South Carolina who basically just got that, got the firing squad, his last meal.
Yeah. What do you got?
Spicy mixed seafood stir fry over rice, fried fish over rice, 2 egg rolls, 3 stuffed shrimp, duck and soy sauce, candy bars, German chocolate cake, and a couple of Pepsis.
Now that's the way I want to go out.
Yeah.
That's a good way of going out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone out there listening that is about to have their last meal, please
anyone on death row, let us know what you're actually thinking.
If you knew anyone on death row, let us know what they consumed. And we'll feel if we like what they chose or not. We'll rank rate their orders.
Allie in Appleton writes, whatever Thanksgiving food you don't like, put more gravy on it and it'll be fine.
Yeah, there we
Doug
go.
Doesn't like gravy.
More gravy.
Marinara sauce. You know, I'll bring my own. I'm not opposed to bringing my own.
Yeah, you got to have enough sauce on a pizza because otherwise it's just.
I know. I had usually. So the place that we go to for takeout pizza, usually they do the sauce really, really well. They screwed up the pizza this time. There was hardly any sauce on it, and they forgot the sausage.
Oh no!
I was like,
that's disappointing.
It's like the best pizza in town, and they screwed up our pizza.
Oh,
it was.
That's the worst. Yeah, because
heartbreaking.
I've had that sometimes too when I try and like order pizzas or whatever else, and it's like some places you go, it's like. There is not enough sauce on this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is just dry and it's like, now it's not even fun.
Todd in Binghamton writes, chicken is ass. I mean, it can be. A lot of people, there are a lot of people.
It depends on how you do chicken.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like chicken, but we eat more chicken than anything else.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that
tastes like chicken.
Let's see. Pilot Mike, we smoke salmon, brisket, ribs, etc. Put them all in at different times and taste them all day long watching football. Mike in lacrosse. I don't do this often.
Oh, there we go. Standing ovation.
That's
how we do it.
That's the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, get me some brisket.
You smoke some salmon. You smoke some brisket. Listen, it doesn't have to be pizza. Not everybody's favorite food is pizza. I get that. Like I said, Dave, you said steak. I'm absolutely cool with that. I love steak. Love a good steak.
Yeah.
Nick, what's your favorite food?
Burger.
There you go.
Nice cheeseburger.
More cow.
Absolutely. More cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if I was like turkey? If I just said turkey,
then I would know that you're a big fat liar.
Well, there's someone out there who loves turkey, man, and you're now making them feel,
I just think they're
feel
wrong.
bad about themselves.
Chuck,
you're gonna put turkey farmers out of business.
Nah, I think their business is still good.
No, I mean, like I said, the marketing has been chef's kiss. Good for them.
Oh yeah.
Good
you
for
got
them.
kids making hand turkeys in school and all that.
Listen, I am just one advocate. I'm just one person who's, like I said, the Thanksgiving truther over here.
Is this like those what are they, Grubhub ads that are like sports are just a blah 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 to sell food?
Uber
right?
Eats.
And it's like
Uber
Uber Eats. And now I think about it, bowling. Turkey. There's turkey in the bowling game.
And you eat food in a bowl.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's all a scheme against survival. Right.
Chuck Freeman's coming up in about 10 minutes or so. We will check in with him. He's the host of Football Friday Nights on the Learfield Radio Network. Of course, that is a show that is produced out of this building, but it is statewide, and state starts tomorrow at Camp Randall Stadium, runs through Friday night. We'll get his thoughts on that coming up in just a few minutes. Keep them coming on the talk and text line. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food and tradition, and why traditions aren't always good? Listen, there are a lot of traditions that are just bad traditions. Green bean casserole is not a good tradition. It's a tradition, but I mean, it's a good one.
Yeah. Losing in October every year. Not a great tradition.
But nevertheless
a tradition.
Nevertheless a tradition.
Yeah.
The book the lottery. That was about a tradition. It meant somebody gets stoned to death.
Oh, yeah.
Every year as a gift to the gods for the harvest.
Oh, yes.
And it was a great tradition until you picked the wrong rock.
Yeah.
There's a parable there. There's a lesson there. It means
There
that all
is.
traditions aren't good traditions. It just means it's just something that's been going on for a long time. Why? Just because.
Yeah. Or who are we throwing into the volcano this year?
Right. Same principle.
Yeah.
Same principle. All right. It is D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave here on the game. Chuck Freeman coming up, like I said, in about 10 minutes or so. Stay with us. It's the Game Radio Network.
In shame, you're playing with your food. This ain't some kind of game. Now if you starve to death, you'll just have yourself to blame. So eat it, just eat it. You better listen, better do what you're told. You haven't even touched your tuna casserole. You better
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans officially ruled out quarterback C.J. Stroud for Thursday's game against the Bills with a concussion. Davis Mills will start again for Houston. The Steelers look to have avoided a major setback as quarterback Aaron Rodgers fractured his wrist but will not need surgery, according to head coach Mike Tomlin. According to NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, Rodgers is pushing to play Sunday at Chicago, but doctors must clear him and his status moving forward is to be determined. Joe Burrow will participate in 11-on-11 drills this week and will be evaluated throughout the week. Burrow did play 7-on-7 drills in practice last week and felt good, according to head coach Zach Taylor. Taylor says Burrow is in the mindset that he wants to play football this year, but there's no timeline for his return. The Bengals host the Patriots on Sunday. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the #1 album in the US and the UK and a #1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a #1 single and a #2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of '73, Stevie Wonder is back with the #4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, had a top 20 hit with Freebird, and tour opening for The Who. Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and scored #1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
All the band on the run, band on the run.
In January of 1974, the top-selling album of the year is released, Paul McCartney and Wings' Band on the Run. Bob Dylan, backed by the band, has his first #1 album with Planet Waves. In February, Jersey City's Kool and the Gang have a top 5 hit with Jungle Boogie. New York City's Kiss released their debut, which sold 75,000 copies without a hit single. In March of 74, Canadian band Rush released their debut album, get a new drummer, and go on their first U.S. tour. David Essex has the first of many top 10 hits in the UK and his only U.S. hit with the single Rock On, which goes to number 5. And Steely Dan hit the top 5 with the single Ricky Don't Lose That Number, and have a top 10 album too with Pretzel Logic.
Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you want. You might use it if you feel better when you get home.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
So, what's a movie soundtrack without Smash Mouth? 1998's Can't Hardly Wait took us inside the mind of graduating high schoolers and gave us a slamming soundtrack in the process. A big standout was Can't Get Enough of You Baby. It's a cover song, but Smash Mouth really made it their own.
I can't get enough of you, baby. I can't get enough of you, baby.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
So bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die.
On the talk and text line, Wayne in Nash Vegas says he has smoked turkey breast in the summer months. Okay. Scott in Cottage Grove. These days you can eat anything for Thanksgiving, but it's all about the football, family, and Italian food. There you go, Scott. Dan Monona, have you never heard of a turkey sandwich? I have heard of a turkey sandwich.
Doesn't eat them, but
if there's nothing else, like this, it's not my top.
It's not your
favorite.
first choice.
It's not my first choice, but if it's sliced, it's and you got some lettuce in there and maybe tomato. It's not horrible.
Madtown Ryan has gone mad with his response. Can't use it over the air, but if you guys look, 12:22, he texted in. You son of a gun.
It's a great meal.
It's
a great meal to go out with.
tough.
Although at that point the quality that you'll be finding may not be the best.
That's true. But if you're getting the chair the next day,
yeah, that's
beggars
true.
can't be
Yeah,
choosers.
I mean, when you've
do.
been in prison probably as long as you are on death row,
it's true.
I think any will be quality compared to what you've had over there.
Oily Phil is disappointed in you, which is never want to be on Oily Phil's wrong side.
No, get in line. Unnamed in the 515, Doug, I love turkey. You can be wrong. Okay. Unnamed in Mark in the 608. More power to you if you get the little woman to not make the traditional Thanksgiving meal. That's from Mark. Mark doesn't. Erica doesn't make turkey.
No. Yeah, she's already been convinced of that long ago.
Well, Somebody asked about my mother-in-law, whether or not she makes turkey on Thanksgiving on the talk and text line. We're working on Bev.
No,
We're playing the long game. We're playing the long game with Bev.
Okay.
Jonah in River Falls. One of my favorite meals used to be turkey loaf. Jonah, what is turkey loaf?
I don't know, but it
sounds awful.
It sounds like meatloaf, but worse. And there's no paradise by the dashboard light there.
Let's see. Unnamed in the 414. You idiots. I like that. Depends on who's making Thanksgiving dinner. If your mom's making dinner, you shut up and eat it. Well, yeah, again, that's part of the whole marketing of Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
See, the thing that I do love and respect about my mother is that she's always been able to take, it's not even criticism. It's just like she prided herself on her cheesecake. Loves making cheesecake. Everybody loves my cheesecake. Everybody loves my cheesecake. I tasted it once when I was 5 and I said that I hated it and I've never eaten it since. And she understood that. It was just a moment of honesty. It's like, I can tell her things that I don't like and she will take, I don't think she loves it, but she understands that it's not coming from a place of malice. It's just coming from, I just don't like it. It's nothing personal. Still love you.
Yeah.
I just don't like this.
Nice. Don't have maybe as refined a palate at 5 years old for the cheesecake. But then it's just kind of move on. But it feels like, everyone's got like that one thing, that one dish where it's like, this is mine. I own it. I make the best one of this, whatever the dish is, whether it's stuffing, whether it's, whatever, cranberry sauce.
Mac and
There's
cheese.
always
name
one.
your
Mac
thing,
and
right?
cheese. Name your thing. Someone's always got something where it's like, that is my dish. That is the one that I just make the best of for everyone. Everyone's going to love it.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to make one thing that I think I make better than anyone else, it'd be a grilled cheese sandwich. I'll bring that to Thanksgiving.
There you go.
I'll bring my grilled cheese sandwich. Will knock your socks off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm eager to eat one of these.
I will
grilled
put
cheese
that up.
sandwiches
I will
one
put
day.
my grilled cheese sandwiches up against anybody. And I also, what I need to learn how to do is I need to take a cooking class so I can actually make the dough for the pizza, because I that's the part that I skip. But the rest of it, the Thanksgiving pizza, I do.
Store-bought dough and.
Yeah. So I know that I cheat a little bit, but the rest of it's handmade.
Okay. There you go.
It's always made with love. It's always made with, good old American love.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
making a pie too, maybe an apple pie.
Making apple pie, it's nothing better. Listen, it's all about America.
Yeah.
It's
all about American pie.
Let's see. David and Racine, turkey isn't good. We're having bacon wrap fillets and twice baked potatoes. See, now
Okay.
there you go.
Okay.
Independent thinkers. That's what America should be all about as well. Independent thinkers.
Yeah. Get the bacon, fillets,
sounds
potatoes.
so
I mean,
good.
that does sound good.
That sounds fantastic, David and Racine. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right. Chuck Freeman's coming up straight ahead. We will connect with him and get the skinny on what's happening in Madison tomorrow and Friday, as State is finally here. 7 games, 4 on Thursday, 3 on Friday. And there were some near misses for some State Blue Bloods that did not make it to State this year, and the return of a Blue Blood to State as well. So we got that to talk about with Chuck Freeman coming up on the other side. Stay with us. It's D.N.D. on the game.
And moss grows fat on a rolling stone, but that's not how it used to be. When the jester sang for the king and queen in a
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
In May, the Rolling Stones spent the year recording in southern France and released the double album Exile on Main Street. It goes to #1 in both the US and the UK. California band the Doobie Brothers score a hit off their second album, Toulouse Street, with the single Listen to the Music. More from the summer of 72, Curtis Mayfield is back on the charts with a soundtrack for the film Superfly. The album yields 2 top 10 hits with Freddy's Dead and the title track. And former Zombies keyboardist Rod Argent has a hit album and a #5 single in the US and the UK with Hold Your Head Up.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Harry Chapin's performance of the song Taxi on The Tonight Show 2 nights in a row leads to a hit. And struggling UK band Mott the Hoople get help from fan David Bowie, who produces their album and writes them a hit, All the Young Dudes, which peaks at #3 in the UK and in the top 40 in the States.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released, Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album Born to Run. The album charts at #5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to #18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl. But she used to be mine.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit #1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to #1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
He was singing bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water. Also in March, the band America releases their debut album. It goes to number 1 and yields a number 1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss why teamwork is really the key to making good music.
What I have realized, and I realized this a long time ago, is that I'm not an island. You know, I think I'm a good captain of a team. You know, and so that I really have to put together the best team I can, and you know what it takes to get to the Rugby World Cup. Got to have the right guys, and it's the same for making music. You got to put together a sort of entourage of people, not only that you get on with creatively, but that you like, and then you'll make good music. That's how I've always been.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Unnamed in the 608 writes, Doug, you got my sympathy that you were never surrounded by people that knew how to make a quality Thanksgiving meal. Your takes are a hot mess, except for cranberries. They're awful all day, every day. All right, another satisfied customer.
There we go.
Keep them coming on the talk and text line, 877-794-1973. Coming up tomorrow and Friday, it is the state football championships. 4 games starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Division 7, 6, 5, and 4 in that order. And then Divisions 3, 2, and 1 on Friday. Joining us on the high school football beat, he's been the host for how many years now, Chuck, has it been for you on Football Friday nights over on our sister station 920 and also on 1070 The Game in Madison?
Well, for 6 years recently on my last run, but I did it for 5 in a run in the 2000s. So, boy, 11 years, so over 2 years. Are we doing the old pizza at Christmas topic or Christmas Thanksgiving pizza again? Is that topic being brought up again? That's that time.
Thanksgiving is, well, I mean, things never change. Chuck Freeman joining us from Football Friday night. Well, you know, my whole thing on Thanksgiving is because turkey's trash. And so is all the other stuff, like the wet bread that passes for stuffing and the green bean casserole and that, you know, sick gelatin that they pass off as cranberry sauce. All of that stuff's just garbage. So, you know, we try to, you know, get the myths around Thanksgiving taken care of around this time of year. So anyway.
Oh, sure. And if you go to somebody's house, you just never know who's touching the turkey and if they got clean hands and all that. I get it.
I'm happy to bring my pizza with me wherever I go. Last year I brought it to Lambeau Field.
Oh, nice.
So
there we go.
I had to have it.
May have to do it again.
So as far as the football playoffs, in the level 4 playoffs last week, what was the biggest surprise? Because there were some really good games. Catholic Memorial in Division 3, they get bounced in overtime by Grafton. I thought that was great. In Division 2, Homestead, they lose by 1 point to West Superior. That sets up Notre Dame against West Superior. I don't know what's going to be the bigger game over the weekend in Green Bay. Is it going to be Notre Dame against West Superior, or is it going to be the Packers against the Vikings? I don't know. There's some really compelling matchups, though, coming up in the next couple of days.
Well, Doug, that first one you mentioned there, Catholic Memorial. Now, in high school football in general, you don't see a team blow a 3-touchdown lead in any part of the game, much less in the state semifinals, much less Catholic Memorial, who was up 21 and cruising along with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then Grafkin just comes surging back to win the game. I thought that was just phenomenal. Again, usually in high school football, you get up 3 touchdowns. It's game, set, match right there. The story's over. It's written. But, it's happened twice now in the playoffs. There was another game up north the previous week where a team got up 21-0 and couldn't hold on. And same thing here. It was a 21-point lead, and Memorial just couldn't hold on, and Grafton comes back and wins an amazing game.
Chuck, every level of football has its own interests and values, right? I mean, the high-flying action in the NFL, the utmost athletes. College, you got traditions and clear blue bloods and strong programs. And in high school, it's similar to that, but I find it hard to believe that a high school can become a powerhouse and always be good, but that's the reality for a lot of these programs. So how do you develop into being a powerhouse high school program, in your opinion?
Well, what's funny about that, Nick, is, private schools, they have an advantage, all right? Let's face it. Because if you get to become a power, you can go from anywhere in the city to that school. And this is part of the problem where private and public schools should be divided like it was 25 years ago when it comes to the state tournament. Private schools should have their own tournament. Public schools should have their own. Now, that said, what's really intriguing is when you see some of these smaller communities year after year after year at the state tournament, like in Edgar from the northern part of the state, for some reason in football, each and every year, and they got a terrific Hall of Fame coach, Jerry Sins, you see them at the state finals. It's just amazing how this happens. And what can happen too here is you get a family, and you get a couple of families, and then you get 20 years from now, you get 30 years from now, you get that same family and their kids are playing. And that it keeps reciprocating. So you get that happening in some of these smaller communities as well. But it's just, I find that fascinating. I love some of these small towns that bring everybody to their games. And, they've been winning forever, like in Edgar, and getting it done. I love small community football. It's just such a way of life on a Friday night in some of those places.
Yeah, you have the small communities, and you have rivalries too that are very strong in high school football. And in the Division II final here, we've got Green Bay, Notre Dame, and West De Pere that are about 8 miles away from each other. That's got to make for a very intense matchup for these two teams. And West De Pere, a 1-point win, 35-34 over Homestead to get here. But this rivalry, I feel like, is just going to make that game that much more intense.
Yeah, no kidding. And another thing about that, Dave, is that there's statewide seating now. So you can get communities that are facing each other right next to each other. Now, back a few years ago, before they had this new playoff system, the WIA would want this community facing a team across the other side of the state. Well, now you can face the team right down the road. They want the 2 best teams there now. Under the coaches do. They want the 2 best teams. And the funny thing about this West De Pere team, Chris Greisen is their quarterback. And Greisen was a backup quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys and an arena football star. His son is the star quarterback for the West De Pere team. He's going to South Dakota State. He's probably the top quarterback in the state. He's been amazing this year. I can't figure out why he's going to South Dakota State. When I see him, he's at least a mid-major type player. But he's going to South Dakota State, lower division, or 1AA football. But that's going to be a great matchup because Green Bay Notre Dame has got a terrific running game, and West De Pere a terrific passing game led by their coach and his son. And it's just amazing to watch De Pere put up the numbers they have this year, West De Pere.
Chuck Freeman joining us from Football Friday Night. The state football championships take place tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday. The 4 games on Thursday, the 3 games on Friday. We haven't really talked about Division I yet. It'll be Arrowhead taking on Bayport. Bayport, they just get past Muskego. They've been a perennial powerhouse, 38-35 in the Division IV playoffs. Arrowhead, they had a tough game against Waunakee, another blue blood program as well, 19-17. I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup between 2 really, really good teams.
Oh, yeah. And I was talking about a little while ago, Doug, and Arrowhead, look at year in, year out, they were one of the first public school programs in Waukesha County to really take off and become an elite program. And then McGuanago saw what Arrowhead was doing and said, hey, why can't we be like Arrowhead? And then McGuanago joined in. And then Muskego said, hey, why can't we be like those two? And Muskego is like McGuanago and Arrowhead. So there's some great football played in Waukesha County. There's no doubt about that. And that matchup right there, yeah, Bayport won the Division I state championship last year, and they're back and ready to go. They got a lot of great players off that team from last year, and should be a great matchup. And Arrowhead, no stranger to going to Camp Randall, and Arrowhead, not only have they been good in football, but that's why they're called the University of Arrowhead. They're good in all sports.
Well, it's the facilities that they've got though too. I mean, it's one of the only high schools in the state. It might be, I don't know if it's the only high school in the state, but they've got their own that they own hockey rink. Whereas if there are other hockey teams around the state, but they go to public facilities, they got their own hockey arena, for crying out loud. They've got one of the best football stadiums in all of Wisconsin, if not the best high school only football stadium. How much, in your opinion, do the facilities play in all of that success that Arrowhead has had, though, too?
And just like Kimberly to the north, Doug, the same thing. When you get a community like that and you get the ball rolling and you get some money put into the program and all that, well, yeah, that helps a great deal, having the resources. It's just like a college program. You get some money thrown into the program, you're going to have some success naturally, you would think, if you do that right. And I'm not saying that's the only reason. You got to work too, and you got to have good coaches and good kids. And I think in a community like Heartland, you got everybody working together, trying to win and develop kids. And they it's not like they just throw their kids out in the field and okay, here we go. No, they got good coaches. Good coaches want to coach there. Good kids want to play there. Youth programs, they got everything going. It's a machine there, and that's why. And they deserve everything they get because they have the resources, and plus they work at it too.
He is Chuck Freeman from Football Friday Night. Final thing for you, Chuck. What do you put on your Thanksgiving pizza?
Oh, no, on my pizza, just pepperoni. Just pepperoni. But it's got to be thin crust. I do not like thick crust. Make it thin crust pizza. I'm good with having pizza on Thanksgiving. People, you and I think, had this topic like 20 years ago, Doug. And I told you back then, you do you.
Just bringing it to the people. Just bringing it to the people. Chuck, great stuff. Enjoy the 7 games. You gotta, forget New Year's Day when you've got all the bowl games. Tomorrow, if you're a high school football fan or broadcaster like you are, doing the statewide show every Friday night with Dan Pfeiffer, just enjoy all the games tomorrow. I can only imagine you're probably going to be parked on your couch the entire game if you're not going to Camp Randall. But yeah, enjoy it. It has come to the crescendo of the high school football season. It'll be fun.
And one thing's always certain: there's going to be a snowstorm. I don't know if there's snow in the forecast, but there's always a snowstorm. Somehow, snow finds its way to get into Camp Randall on those 2 days.
Nick, you're in Madison. Is it snowing right now?
No snow right now, but anything's possible.
All right, fair enough. Chuck, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the games tomorrow.
All right, great talking to you guys.
All right, you too. There he goes, Chuck Freeman joining us from Football Friday Night. Again, 4 games tomorrow. Cochrane Fountain City takes on Kenosha St. Joe's in Division 7. Division 6, it'll be Darlington against Edgar. Mayville plays Northwestern in Division 5. The Division 4 game will pit Little Chute against Winneconne. Friday, Division 3, it'll be Grafton against Reedsburg. Division 2, Notre Dame against West Depeer. That's going to be the battle for Green Bay. And then Arrowhead against Bayport in the Division 1 game. That'll kick off around 4 o'clock. So we'll keep you updated throughout the next couple of days here on the show because they'll be going on while we're on the air.
Oh, yeah, and they're going to be fantastic to watch. I mean, I remember last year just kind of seeing the games on TV and just giving the updates as they're going. Like, these are some incredible games.
Yeah.
That these kids are playing.
8 football games at Camp Randall Stadium over the course of 3 days.
Love it. I'll be there for one of them.
It's the best. It's the best. All right, 3 hours down. 1 hour to go. Coming up in the final hour of the program, Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal will join us. Bruce's Bites is next.
To D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game.
Eric Tasker here from Tailgate Talk.
Paul Wagner and myself are back with a new episode everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. In our latest episode, we gather around the tailgate and talk about the rut in Wisconsin, successes, letdowns, and just a general excitement that comes with the first couple weeks in November. It's a great time to be in the woods, but if you need something to get you through your day, just search for Tailgate Talk on the iHeartRadio app and everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Good luck out there this week to all the hunters. Wear your Blaze Orange and be safe.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a #1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the #4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to #9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to #12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the #1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to #1 in the US and the UK.
What have we found? Same old fear. Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, The Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches #4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, whole lot of love. Whole lot of love. Whole lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last #1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits #1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at #1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits #19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at #36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to #20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to #13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to #4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to #4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up.
For money-saving tips that can help put your financial house in order and avoid future financial headaches, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling today at 1-800-388-2227 or visit them at nfcc.org, a public service from the NFCC.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the Game.
I was thinking about her, thinking about me, thinking about us. Who we gon' be? Open my eyes. It was only just a dream.
Final hour of the program is underway. D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Briswitz, and Dave Gasper. Ben from the University of Arrowhead writes on the talk and text line, which is always open to you at 877-794-1973. Doug, that's a misnomer. Arrowhead doesn't own the hockey rink. Their school and athletic facilities pale in comparison to other schools in Waukesha County. Well, I will say this. I went to Google Maps and I looked up Arrowhead High School, and the Howard G. Mullet Ice Center is located at the corner of Arrowhead Drive and Arrowhead Campus Drive. So
suspicious.
I don't know who the ownership is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Maybe they just rent.
Perhaps they just rent, but it's on campus. It is literally on Arrowhead Campus Drive.
Yeah. It's like the Brewers don't technically own American Family Field, but
the Packers don't own Lambeau
play.
Field.
Yeah. Do the Bucks own Fiserv Forum? I don't think so.
They own part of it.
Yeah.
They have partial ownership of it.
Just the court.
Yeah.
Everything else is not there.
So if Arrowhead High School doesn't own the Howard G. Mullet Ice Center, I hope at least understand my confusion on the matter, because again, it's not located near literally anything else other than Arrowhead High School.
Yeah.
So
and their football field and
yep, I'm looking
soccer field.
They have their own. Listen, they've got their own football field. Well, everybody's got their own football. I shouldn't say everybody. Most have their own football. Although Catholic Memorial doesn't. They play at Waukesha South. But they've got their own football stadium, of course. And then just a stone's throw from there, they have a separate soccer stadium. Not every school that has that either. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call it University of Arrowhead. So I would love to know what other schools have facilities that, Arrowhead's pale in comparison.
What other schools have luxury boxes for their high school football?
There's that. There is that. I will say I don't see an indoor practice facility, and some high schools do have indoor football practice facilities. So maybe that's next at Arrowhead. There's certainly it feels like there's enough room to build something like that.
Certainly.
So if that's what's missing, okay. All right. That may be what's missing. Anyway, enough about Arrowhead High School, which I have deep respect for, and I do, especially their football coach, Matt Harris. I wish him well tomorrow. Let's get right into it. The award-winning Bruisers Bites.
Time now for Bruisers Bites.
You even caught me off guard for a split second there.
It's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Bruisers
Lightning
Bites
fast.
brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com to see all their great work. And they do own themselves. They own Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. It's their own business. It's not owned by anybody else. And you know what? You can own the best garage on the block with their polyurea coating your garage floors. You can get their garage cabinetry. So you look like, even if you look like even more of a handyman, even more capable of using those tools that you have, maybe collecting dust, but you'll look fancy with their garage cabinetry. And of course, your outdoor deck, patio, whatever. If it has concrete, it can probably be coated by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. So visit them at wiconcretecoatings.com. We'll start with the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur was asked about facing the Vikings and the challenges that presents. Here's his response.
It's going to come down to a couple plays. That's how most of the games are in this league. And I've got a lot of respect for those guys over in Minnesota. I think they got a great roster. I think they got a great coaching staff. So it should be a great football game. Hopefully our fans will show up in droves and not sell their tickets to the Vikings fans, because we've seen that happen before too.
Some people took issue with the last moments of that bite there, referencing the fans and the opposing fans that is coming in to the stadium. But I want to gauge your opinions on what would concern you the most about how Minnesota can attack the Packers, whether it's on offense or defense. What's your greatest concern about the Packers' ability to win this game?
I think that they can run right at him, so it's not necessarily their rush defense. I don't think that J.J. McCarthy is a great quarterback, so it's not their passing offense. So the other aspects of it, perhaps, I think that even if Josh Jacobs isn't able to go, Emmanuel Wilson can pick up the slack. I do worry about the fact that the Packers did drop a lot of passes last week because that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the Vikings themselves, but it has more to do with the Packers perhaps defeating themselves. I need to see, especially without Tucker Kraft in the lineup, I need to see more out of Luke Musgrave, and Matt LaFleur addressed that on Monday. Yes, he needs to play more. As Wayne Larrivee talked about earlier in today's show, and I agree 1,000% with him as well, they've got to get Matthew Golden going, and they've got to incorporate more of Christian Watson as well. I know that they want to spread the ball around. I get that. But sometimes you've got bookend wide receivers. You got to use those bookend wide receivers. And Romeo Doubs is a guy who gets open all the time, especially in the red zone. So they've got the weapons. It's just a matter of them deploying them. And I need to see more than like 3 or 4 targets for a guy like Watson and more than 3 or 4 targets for a guy like Golden. So those are the issues that I think are still persisting with this Packers team. And if they can get those receivers going and get the passing game going, then I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, and if they can get themselves out to a decent enough lead and be comfortable enough, because what also concerns me is, not J.J. McCarthy on the whole, but J.J. McCarthy in the fourth quarter in a close game, because, this season in the fourth quarter within 7 points, J.J. McCarthy has a passer rating of 111.4. He's been really good. He's been far better in that situation than basically any other situation out there on the field. So if it's a close game late, I think J.J. McCarthy, as we've seen so far this season in the wins that they have, J.J. McCarthy can find a way to cause some damage to you. So, my concern is the Packers offense just kind of being able to get out of spinning their wheels and getting going enough to make it not be a close game late. We haven't seen that in a couple of weeks.
Well, on the other side, Kevin O'Connell has some high praise for the Green Bay Packers, including linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, who is now in year 2 in the league.
You really look at it and you see Cooper being a guy that, you're seeing more trust put into him. You're seeing more playmaking, and he's just being on the field more is allowing him to gain some experience at a pretty rapid pace, and he's starting to become a really, really good player. But I've always been a fan of his, even going back to the draft.
Edgerrin Cooper, once again in year 2, he burst onto the scene last year as a really good rookie. I think he even at one point, did he get Defensive Player of the Month?
A couple of times.
He got Rookie of the Month at one point.
He got Defensive Player.
Twice.
I think he got Defensive Player of the Week twice, is what it was.
Defensive Player of the Week. Regardless, it feels like this season we haven't heard his name as often. So when you look at Edgerrin Cooper, has he built off of year 1 enough for you guys now here in year 2?
I think that last year he was such a revelation as a rookie. I think he's a high draft pick, so it wasn't that unusual, coming out of Texas A&M for him. But when they traded for Micah Parsons, there was so much more that was put onto the pass rush and so much more attention on that. So I wouldn't say that Edgerrin Cooper has regressed. I don't think that. But I just think that there's been less attention on him based on what else is going on the defensive side of the ball, specifically getting to the quarterback. Because, there aren't as many opportunities for Edgerrin Cooper because of the way that the pass rush has been getting home, or at least affecting the passer this year. So 56 is still solid. I think he's still a great player. Yeah, you don't hear him as much as you did last year, but that doesn't concern me. I think he's right where he needs to be.
Yeah, I'm at the exact same point as Doug. We're not hearing his name as much, but that doesn't mean that he's not performing as well or performing like the Packers coaching staff wants him to. I mean, that role can change a little bit when you bring in someone like Micah Parsons. The expectations for what he's going to do and how he's going to make an impact on the team. It's a little bit different when you have Micah Parsons in there, changing around your linebacker assignments. Edgerrin Cooper, a lot less pressure on him to be getting into the backfield and things like that. So, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I think he's still a really, really good player. And we just haven't heard him quite as much, but that doesn't mean that he has regressed at all.
He missed 3 games last year, but he's still pacing towards beating his numbers from his rookie campaign in the 14 games sample size.
Yeah.
He's got 4 more games to reach that point. He's at 74 total tackles, 87 total over 14 games last year. So he's pacing to exceed all his numbers outside of sacks. He already has more forced fumbles this year, 3 pass deflections compared to 4 total last year.
Yeah.
So he's essentially playing the same level of ball. I would agree, probably just under the radar in comparison now to the other stars on the defense.
Yeah. He had 13 tackles for loss last year, just 2 this year. Like they haven't been asking him to go into the backfield quite as much, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think he's a really, really good player.
Well, let's transition into another really good player, former Penn State offensive lineman and NFLer A.Q. Shipley on the Pat McAfee Show. Had the opportunity to speak with now Virginia Tech head coach James Franklin, and here's his opening statement before speaking directly with Franklin.
Coach, good to see you.
How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you. I hate
You
those
too,
colors on you, but before I get to my question, I think I need to say this, right? Obviously, as a former Penn Stater, former Penn State player, I think everybody appreciates everything you did, and I think when this whole thing is done and we move past everything, I think everybody down the road is going to look back and say what you did when you took it over and what you did in that time. Everybody will be forever grateful for that. I think that needs to be said. But having said that,
I appreciate it, Q.
So purely gut here, guys, because we don't know what the future holds and who the head coach at Penn State's going to be. I'm leaning towards them making a decision and it being not as good as what they had previously, and that they will regret letting James Franklin go. Where do you guys stand?
Yeah, because Penn State prided itself on having so much continuity for so many years during, the Joe Paterno era, which spanned over 40 years. And listen, the game, I was at Big Ten Media Day sometimes when Joe Paterno was still the coach and obviously still with us. He passed away shortly after he got let go in the wake of the Sandusky situation. I don't know how with it he was. So to their detriment, they went too long with Joe Paterno because he had won so many games and done so many great things while he was the head coach, while also, not doing some other great things as far as advocacy for the kids that were being abused right underneath his nose. And then they went with Bill O'Brien for a couple of years, and then he went to the NFL. But with Franklin, the knock on him was that he couldn't win the big games. And I understand that. I think he was a good coach. I still think he's a good coach. But when you're going up against, teams like Ohio State every year, and then Michigan had their glow up for a couple of seasons, I think that's really difficult to then hang at Penn State's feet every single year. I understand what the knock on Franklin was, but again, they fired him after basically 3 missed plays on defense. Maybe they were just itching. They were looking for something. They were looking for something to get rid of him. So just based on gut, I think the next coach probably, because he's got so much to live up to, I don't think he's going to have the same amount of success as James Franklin. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think Penn State was really, really foolish and just went completely knee-jerk. Now, they got out of it because Virginia Tech is taking care of all but $9 million of the buyout, so Penn State got out scot-free. But the way that the whole thing was handled at Penn State, I just thought was disturbing for all of college football, disturbing for all of college sports for that matter.
Yeah, it was, and I don't think Penn State's going to be able to find better, because I mean, when you're looking out there on the market, I mean, who are you going to be able to convince to leave their spot to come to you? I mean, are you going to get Dan Lanning? Are you going to be able to get Marcus Freeman? Probably not. Kalen DeBoer.
Dan Lanning maybe, because Oregon, they're still looking for they've dumped all that money in. They're like, now that they're kind of looking at him saying, well, where's our championships?
Yeah, but
so maybe Lanning, but you're not going to get Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman would be an idiot to go there.
Oh, absolutely, he would. And I mean, Lanning, Alabama was reportedly after him last year, and he said, no, I'm staying here. And, Jed Fish, he's kind of turned around Washington pretty quickly. He's got a little bit of Big Ten experience. I mean, are you looking at, Jed Fish, Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri, maybe? I mean,
Maybe.
what's
John Gruden?
Yeah, I don't know if John Gruden's going to really help you immediately get Penn State back up to where they want to go. So, Yeah, that's kind of the danger, because as much as we love talking about, fire coaches, in athletics, who are you necessarily going to get to replace them? Because everyone wants to fire someone and get someone new in there, but who are you going to get?
It always feels good to fire the guy, or at least to the fans it does.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, who are you going to get to replace him? I mean, I think that was, after all of the silly firings that have happened this year in college football, I think that's kind of what Chris McIntosh was looking at, saying, okay, so everybody else has fired their coach, in a knee-jerk reaction, whether it was Brian Kelly, whether it was James Franklin, whether, some of the other coaches that have been fired around the country as well. It just doesn't make any sense that they're going to try to get somebody better than what you've already had. I think that the leash on Luke Fickell obviously is short, and it has to be short, but I don't think that this was the right season to go out and find somebody else. Now, Again, we may be having a different discussion a year from now, because things did not go in anyone's acceptable way this year at Wisconsin. So next year might be the year if things don't turn around. But this year, just based on all the silliness that's happened, I don't know that they were going to do any better, or do at least as well as Wisconsin fans had hoped they would do.
Yeah, because they'd probably have the 7th best job available.
Right.
So, you're not going to be able to get the top guy out there in the market. And a couple of years ago, when, Paul Chryst was going through it, there were a bunch of people saying, fire Paul Chryst. And, then it's like, okay, well, you fired him. You brought in Fickell, and it hasn't gone quite as well. Now, at the time, we're all like, yeah, it was great, but now it hasn't gone so well.
It's gone quite poorly.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that the Bucks do not play poorly without Giannis moving forward. He's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks. He's got a little bit of a groin injury situation. And Bobby Portis hopped on FanDuel TV with Michelle Beadle and Chandler Parsons and the gang. And he was asked about Giannis and maybe how he might be officiated different than other players.
Don't want to get fined or anything though, but the refs are kind of hard on Giannis out there on the court, man. Going back watching some Shaq tape, man, they kind of treat him like Shaq on the court for real, man. It's like for real though, like teams can just beat him up, throw him on the ground, things like that. And the one play he did get hurt, he actually got fouled, and then the next possession on their end, Jared Allen got a ticky-tack call. So definitely we get refed a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, that's been the reality for star players in the past, right? As you mentioned, Shaq, other guys get preferential treatment, it seems. Other guys get kind of screwed over. Giannis is in the screwed over camp. I think everyone can agree with that. But is there a greater conversation on if it's a concerted effort by the league to maybe push Giannis out of Milwaukee?
The league doesn't have a lot of credibility with a lot of fans. So if you're looking for something nefarious, I think that the NBA kind of has to own that a little bit. I don't know if it's a conspiracy, nevertheless, just based on what we're seeing. But does the league want Giannis out of Milwaukee? Probably. I mean, certainly the national media does. But, the flip side of that is, what is Giannis's window from here on out? Is the league desirous of having him win another NBA championship? Because in his 13th season, how much longer does he have left to play? The way that he plays, I don't think that he's got 5 years left. I just don't. I mean, I know he loves the game. I know he loves playing, but he goes 110 miles an hour every single time he touches the ball. That takes a toll on a body. So, yeah, he should be refereed differently. It wouldn't shock me. But again, that's the bed that the NBA, in my opinion, has made for themselves.
Yeah, and the NBA, they've got a lot of issues at hand, especially with legally and how some things end up going there.
Well, the Tim Donaghy thing is still, that's still part of their history, and it's not that long ago that the Tim Donaghy thing happened.
Yeah, no, it's not, and now we got fresh scandal there, and this is just kind of another part of it where it's like, okay, all these other star players get all these calls, and it's like, why is Giannis getting the ones going the complete opposite way, getting treated like he's not the superstar player that he is? I mean, the offensive foul call on him the other day where he was literally just standing there was absolutely ridiculous. And you'd think the NFL or the NBA tries to take care of their stars, but they just don't seem to be doing it with Giannis for whatever reason. They just haven't been. And it's so weird to me how it goes that way. And you'd think officiating should be the same across the board. But they don't know how to officiate Giannis because he's just so good, just like NFL officials don't really know how to officiate, Micah Parsons or the tush push. I mean, Micah Parsons gets held seemingly every single time, and they never call because it's like, well, it's Micah Parsons. I mean, it's just everything just kind of seems to be, you could technically call it all foul. You could technically call all this, foul on Giannis, but he seems to be powering through just fine anyway, so it must not be that much of a hindrance.
We'll end with a couple of quick notes on Badger stories. First and foremost, our friend Nick Osen puts out a tweet that Jaden Petit, a class of 2026 wide receiver for the Badgers, is first and foremost a Gatorade Player of the Year finalist in Florida. And he's now a 95 out of 100, so a strong 4-star on 24/7 Sports. So makes the leap into being one of the better wide receivers in the country. 24/7 has him as the 93rd best player in the country at his position, I believe.
That's great. Is he going to
Is
stay?
he still? Yeah, is he still coming?
He's been a hard commit since June. Things have not changed with him, at least. You have to wonder if maybe a guy like Eugene Hilton is a good advocate for this program, because every conversation I've had with Eugene and those around him have seemed like he's pretty satisfied, and he's a hell of a player himself. So long story short, Jaden Petit, 4-star wide receiver. They'll make those signings in a couple of weeks here. Evan Flood has this as the Badgers men's basketball season is now well underway. A couple of former Badgers off to good starts with their outside programs. Daniel Freitag, Buffalo topped Vermont. Freitag 33 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. On the other side, Gus Yalden in that Vermont contest, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. All this to say, in the modern era of college basketball, you can't fault a team like Wisconsin if they move off of guys who end up being successful elsewhere, as long as they bring in guys and they're successful here. And it looks like that's the reality with Greg Gard's squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like these guys are going. Let's see. One of them went to Buffalo. What was the other schools that you're talking about?
Vermont.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
And he was at Seton Hall first.
If you leave Wisconsin and go somewhere like AJ Story, he went to Kansas, but he wasn't successful there. If you leave Wisconsin and you go somewhere smaller and you succeed, that's fine. Whatever. You just wanted more playing time. I get it. I understand.
And can you be happy for them as a Badger fan? Like, I mean,
sure.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, if you're going from Madison to Vermont and you're getting twice as much playing time and your numbers are twice as good, yeah, I'm happy for you. If you leave Wisconsin to go to like Illinois or Iowa and you're doing something similar, I start to wonder why would you leave Madison to go there? What was wrong with your experience at Wisconsin? I don't get that. Like with AJ Storr, I wonder if he had that decision to do over again, whether or not he'd make that same decision, because he wasn't successful at Kansas.
No, and then he's moved on. What is he at Ole Miss?
I don't know.
He's at Ole Miss, and he's playing really well right now at Ole Miss.
Okay, it's also early though too.
Yeah, but then you also got Chucky Hepburn, who was really good. Went to Louisville, but he got more money, and that's part of it too. With
really
this, that nowadays in college sports, it's just simply he's going to get more money over there, so he'll choose to just go over there.
Yeah, that's part of what I hate about college athletics right now is if that's the only motivating factor that you have, okay, I understand that. But you also, at some point, made a commitment to the first university. So that's why I think the multi-year contracts are on the way. They're not there yet, but I believe that that's something that is going to be on the horizon because I think it has to be, because as an adult, you make commitments and you can't just, I think this is what's going to ultimately destroy the fabric of college athletics is you're not going to have any loyalty. The players aren't going to have any loyalty to the teams, and the fans aren't going to have any loyalty to the players, because what does it matter if you're going to be gone in a year and you're not going to have any lifelong connection with the university? It's just going to be, nobody's going to care anymore.
Oh, and that's what Wisconsin's trying to do with Xavier Lucas and how all that went down. They signed him to that 2-year revenue sharing deal, and then he decides he wants to transfer. And it's like, no, buddy, we signed you to a contract. So that's all going through the legal loopholes, and see if someone
enrolled
can
and re-enrolled.
Yeah, all these guys just kind of changing commitments, just like the Badgers. Get a change in commitment today from offensive lineman Benjamin Novak. He goes from Wisconsin to Indiana. And now
Right.
Wisconsin has no offensive line commits lined up right now for next year's class.
And this is a problem because Chris McIntosh, less than a month ago, came out and said, no, this is what we're doing. We're going to recommit into the program. And when you lose a commit to the school that is out there just spending money left and right, it's like, well, what did you just say?
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah, we'll
any
see.
offensive lineman commits for the class of 2026 right now because in the last 3 days, 2 of them have walked. That's a problem.
Yeah, you got to get that cash money out there for the transfer portal. And great segue into the final Badger note from here. Yes, you had Novak there. He was the latter of the 2 offensive linemen to decommit this week. Maddox Cochran, a Virginia native, reopened his recruitment earlier this week. And Evan Flood has this quote from him. When asked about the decision, he says, quote, "I just can't."
Oh, okay.
Why do you not want to be a Badger anymore? I just can't.
I just can't do it. I watched them just
Okay.
get obliterated by Indiana and Maryland
You
and
got
all
it,
these teams.
but-
And I can't.
Indiana rebuilt themselves in a year. I mean, I know they're the outlier. Or they're going to be the outlier. I get that, but it's like it's just
Badgers
so
have a lot of offensive
it's
linemen in
so
house still.
frustrating. It is
They got
so
a lot of guys.
frustrating.
As long as they retain the guys in-house and they can add in the portal, we already know 27. There's at minimum multiple offensive lineman commits for now. But, you're talking about essentially running it back next year with 3 of the guys you've seen, Joe Brunner, Colin Coverly, and Emerson Mandel back as starters. As Brunner, if Brunner decides he doesn't want to go to the NFL, which I would imagine he comes back. He loves it here. He's a Wisconsin kid. Kevin Haywood comes back from injury. Ryan Corey's played center already this year. The depth is certainly going to be tested, but they have a good amount of offensive linemen here now. You do definitely want to see guys added each class. Maybe there's still time for that. I'm sure they'll add guys in this class. There will not be 0 freshman offensive linemen next year.
Well, we hope.
I would hope not. Yeah.
We'll end here with that. A long one today, but we had a lot to get to. A little bit of turkey talk earlier in the show. So squeeze it in there. But as always, Bruisers Bites brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, WIConcretecoatings.com.
All right, Jim Polzin coming up in just a few minutes as well. Stay with us here on the Game Radio Network. It's D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, and Dave Gasper. NicolayLaw.com talking text line always open to you at 877-794-1973. Stay with us. It's the game.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D. will be back in just a moment. It's Border Battle Week. Stay with the game as we get you ready for the Packers and Vikings.
From 27 yards left hash. Snap good. Spot down. Walsh's kick is up. And it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that. He missed it left. And the Seattle Seahawks are off to Charlotte. 10-9. Favre goes back to pass. He pumps. Now he fires over the middle. Intercepted. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. It was intercepted by Tracy Porter near side to the 40, and John Sullivan runs him down at the 47-yard line. You've got to be kidding me. I can't believe what I just saw. Looking at that play, he should have just held on to it, Paul. He should have. He could have easily got 5 or 6 yards if he would have just pulled that thing down and dove forward. But why do you even ponder passing? I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Welcome to Rivalry Week. Welcome to the border battle. CJ in Columbus said, I think there's one in Arizona where he says the kick is good and the Vikings kicker ended up missing it. CJ, your memory is correct.
High snap, put down. Joseph, come on! It is good! No, he
It's
missed
no
it.
good.
Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right. Oh, my heavens. Oh, my. He missed it right. What a gut punch to a team. Ball that play after play toward the end fought its way back. Missed it by like a foot.
Wayne also told us about that one because of where they were. He's like, you can't see the numbers, you can't see the kick, whatever it ends up being. But it is just a hilarious moment. But it's not even my favorite Paul Allen call that involves
Arizona.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Run, PA. 17, 16, 15.
See, they have to go deep into the end zone.
We better put some people in the end zone, right, Joe?
That's exactly right.
I mean, there's nobody inside the 10.
Get back there.
Here it is.
Call
The season's on the line. Two receivers left and right. McCown takes the snap. He steps up. He's all by himself. Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! No! The Cardinals have knocked the Vikings out of the playoffs. I believe it was caught by Nate Poole.
It was.
He's being mugged by his Cardinal teammates. They're Minnesota Vikings crying on the field.
Oh, and we love to see that part, Paul. Thank you for that last little drop. And thank you to our sister station, KFAN, for all of that illustrious audio.
Listen to No BS with Billy and Armin every weekday from 6 to 10 right here on The Game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Elton John songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Tiny Dancer.
All the clothes are tiny dancer. Count the headlights on the highway. Baby darling, she's so landing.
Number 2, Rocket Man.
I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out the fuse out every home.
Number 1, Benny and the Jets.
She's gotta let me boost. I'm more health food. You know I'm better than a magazine. No. Benny and the Jets.
Hear more from Elton John and similar artists now. Search for Elton John on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record. But it does have some, country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack. Flashback.
Nice socks, Brad. 1975's The Rocky Horror Picture Show wasn't a huge deal at the time, but you love dancing to the time warp now. How long before it's a TikTok dance, I wonder?
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Madtown Ryan writes on the talk and text line, here's my thought on those college coach buyouts. Do you remember those rookie quarterback deals? They get like $60 million before playing a play. I mean, those buyouts are going to go away like those rookie contracts. That's a good point. I mean, you don't
Sam Bradford,
you never see holdouts. I think so, yeah. I mean, Tony Mandarich was held out for a while, too, before he signed his deal. That was a big problem for the Packers 100 years ago.
Don't they hard slot the draft now? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically the Players Association's way of saying, yeah, we'll give you this because we don't want rookies making more than the veterans, and they're not members of the
union
Players
yet.
Association yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bradford was the last one. 6 years, $78 million contract with $50 million guaranteed before ever playing a snap. This deal was the last of its kind before the NFL's collective bargaining agreement in 2011 established a new rookie wage scale that caps salaries. So,
Scott in Cottage Grove writes, Wisconsin needs better players, not better coaches.
Good call.
Well, they need better players.
Petit. He's the start of a long run.
Listen, I hope you're right. I also hope he still comes.
I just think at this point, I mean, you're probably not walking away. I know these offensive linemen are,
but you never know until you get to signing day, until they put pen to paper and sign their national letter of intent. you really don't know, because there could be teams that come in and, try and flip them late. I mean, you think you have these commits all across the board, but other teams can still talk to them and say, like, hey, sure about that?
Yeah.
What about over here? We might have a little bit extra cash for you. We might have a little bit of extra this. We might have a little bit sooner playing time.
Stewart in Madison writes, I read that Shams indicated that Knicks are desperate and offered 2 first-round picks to trade for his low-grade groin strain. He's talking about Giannis. At some point, Giannis is not going to be a Milwaukee Buck.
Yep.
That day is coming sooner rather than later. This team is pretty mediocre right now. And they've been good the last couple of years, but certainly not as good as they were when they were on their ascension to winning the NBA championship. I think that window, if it's not closed, man, it is really close. It is really.
Yeah.
And listen, I credit the Bucks for doing everything that they possibly could do to keep that window open. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it is just about getting locked. Mike from Merrill writes, look at Chucky. In the offseason, he gets a Bucky Badger tattoo, then he leaves and goes to Louisville. I understand, though. Take the money.
I wonder if Jim Polzin has a Bucky tattoo.
I don't know.
No, we can ask him.
Do you? You went there.
Not yet.
Okay. Are you going to get one? Can we turn that into a radio bit?
Yeah. Let's get you a tattoo, Nick. Come on. Join the club.
Nick gets a tattoo coming up straight ahead.
Yeah.
Prison style.
Yeah. Jim Polzin is going to join us from the Wisconsin State Journal. Stay with us. It's D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave on the game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Drew and KB on The Game.
We're riding the K train. Cato Kalin joins the program. Hey, the Just a Bit Outside documentary from your friend Kelly Call and his crew was phenomenal. I've watched it a bunch of times. We make all of our young listeners and our young coworkers watch it to see what it was like with the 82 Brewers and why that team is so beloved. I'm just wondering, Cato, what memories did that bring back for you when you saw it?
It was great because first of all, when they beat the Angels, coming back 3 games in a row, it's phenomenal. Everybody, I remember going to so many games. Harvey Keene was amazing. The whole gang. One time I did an event, and it was actually when I was living in LA, but I was flown to Milwaukee when the Potawatomi sort of just opened, and I was a guest of a huge charity, and my seat was next to Moose Haw, and I had the guy was great. He lives in Scottsdale now. So I say we exchanged numbers, and we just reminisced about how great he was and how great the Brewer was just during that entire time. I mean, Vukovic, Gorman Thomas, it was so blue collar that everybody gravitates that this team has got to win it all, which they didn't.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taking Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 #1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final #1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes #2 UK and #9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House, and British band Mungo Jerry are #1 in the UK, #3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
Have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first #1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Neil Sean of Journey to ask why he believes their fan base still exists.
You know, I think that we keep bringing it. We put on a good show, and you know, I give 150% every night. You know, that's all I know, and I think the rest of the guys do too. And you know, we have some great songs that we're lucky enough and have been blessed enough to have them be etched in stone, so to speak, and have not gone anywhere. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of other bands from our era where their songs have not stuck like ours have with people's lives, and we're very fortunate. You know, it's mixed. It's young, medium-aged, and older people, and I look out and I see about 4 generations of people.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Neil Sean and all your favorite artists.
Final segment of the 4-hour extravaganza that is the D&D show. Doug, Nick, and Dave here on the Game Radio Network on this Wednesday, November 19th. Joining us on the program right now, as he does each and every Wednesday at this time, from the Wisconsin State Journal, their outstanding sports columnist, Jim Polzin. Jim, I appreciate the time. How are you today?
Good, guys. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I want to ask you about the decommits, if you will, about the Badgers football program. First, it was Maddox Cochran. And then yesterday, Ben Novak, who is flipping his commitment to Indiana instead of Wisconsin. What's your initial reaction to those 2 defections in the last 3 days?
Well, certainly not ideal because it leaves them with 0 offensive linemen in that class. And, you know, you want to have at least a couple every year. I will say this, from a number standpoint, they've gone pretty heavy the previous 2 classes, I think 5 apiece in each of those classes. So, you know, certainly from a number standpoint, not the end of the world, but I think from an optics standpoint, not great. The Novak one's probably the bigger deal. First, because he's been committed for well over a year, and second, because he's going to a Big Ten rival. Indiana's done a really good job. I mean, of course, everybody knows that Bob Bostad, the former Wisconsin offensive line coach, is now the offensive line coach for the Hoosiers. They've got 2 commits in their class from the state of Wisconsin, and now they're adding a kid who was committed to Wisconsin at one point. So, you know, like I said, not ideal. I don't know. I have not talked to either one of them, so I can't give you any personal details on why they did. I'm just kind of reading what everybody else is reading. But, you know, this late in the class is the last thing you want, because you kind of go into a recruiting class with a plan of you know, how many guys you want at a certain position, and then 15 or 16 days before signing day, you're left with 0.
Jim, do you feel like these last 2 games are, I think audition might be an overstatement, but like, how important are they to Carter Smith and his time here moving forward with the Badgers?
Actually, I've used the word audition a couple times in pieces.
Well, there we go.
I think that's true to some degree, right? Like nobody knew really what Carter Smith could do. I mean, they've seen him practice. He had not practiced with the number 1s even in camp. So, I mean, that certainly only gives you a partial picture when you're with 3rd stringers. And I think certainly you don't really know for sure until you get on the field in games and go against actual opponents. And so I think this has given them a better idea. I think every game, every snap kind of gives you more of a picture. I mean, I will say that 4 games probably isn't enough to give you a full picture, right? Like it's the minimum amount of games you can play and keep your red shirt. But it's not going to give you a complete picture, and they're not playing with the guys around him are pretty beat up. The offensive line's beat up. Running backs are down, to the 4th stringer essentially. So it's you got to take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. I think there's been a lot of good things from him these last 2 games, and there's been some things that he looks like a freshman at times. So these next 2 games are important. The thing I worry about is, does the limited number of games give you enough of information to make a decision on what you do going forward in terms of that position?
Jim, and with these first couple of games with Carter Smith at quarterback, it seems like it's definitely been a more limited playbook, certainly limiting throws down the field, a lot of short throws behind the line of scrimmage. Do you think over these last 2 games that they'll open up the playbook a little bit for him, allow him to showcase that arm? Because we've seen what he can do with his legs. We know he's a threat there. But do you think that playbook can open up a little bit more over these final 2 games?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I kind of asked something similar to Luke Fickell down in Bloomington, and because he only attempted 4 passes in the second half on Saturday, and now some of that is I think there were more dropbacks than that, so it wasn't like there were only 4 pass plays called. But when you're trailing by that much in a game and you have 5 possessions in the second half to only get 4 pass attempts in, that's a pretty low number, and especially once the game got to a point where you're not going to win it. I thought it was a golden opportunity to, let it rip to some degree. Let him, let's see what he has. And they just never did that. So that was, a little bit of a head scratcher. And I think, Luke Fickell said as much that he would have liked to have seen more aggressiveness in the second half. So maybe we see that a little bit going forward. They're always going to try to win the game. So I don't know if they're going to come out, firing away on Saturday against Illinois. We'll see how that game goes. They're going to want to try to make it a 4-quarter game. They're going to want to, try to limit possessions for Illinois. They're going to essentially slow play it like they have been just to give themselves the best chance. And they want to put him in good positions. But, if the game does start to slip away a little bit, I would hope that they, at least give him a chance to throw the ball around a little more.
From the Wisconsin State Journal, sports columnist Jim Polzin joining us here on D.N.D. I want to change gears and talk about the Packers on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of air quotes must win. How much of this week's game against the Vikings is a must win?
Yeah, pretty high. I would have said the same last week too. I just think there's enough good teams in the NFC that now you're kind of on that bottom edge of the playoff picture, and you don't want to lose one that you absolutely shouldn't lose. I mean, winning at New York was, you're favored by a touchdown at least in that game. This week you got a pretty a Vikings team that's kind of trending downward and is really struggling with their quarterback position. So, yeah, you got to take care of this one at home, and there's a big one after that coming up. So you do not want to go into that with a loss. So I think not only win this game, but we'd really like to see them win it in a comfortable fashion and come somewhere close to the complete game that's really been missing for a long time, really all season. They just, they kind of always leave you wondering how good they are, and it'd be nice to kind of be a trending upward into the Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions.
When we transition to more broad conversation, I do think it's worth mentioning Giannis and the injury and the Bucks and where they stand this year. Jim, I know we're early in that season, and a lot of people don't lock in to the Bucks action until football is kind of waning off. But I think right now they're kind of sitting middle of the pack, and if Giannis is out, the national media is going to chomp at the bit of potentially getting him out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit of a storyline in the offseason and into the season. I don't know how much it matters, the national media weighing in. It really only matters what Giannis thinks and says. And I don't know that that's going to be something that's going to come up anytime soon. I do think this story probably isn't going away. I mean, it's this season is a really big one in terms of showing him that you have the tools around him to be a competitor going forward. And so I just don't see this story going away. I think it's going to be something that's kind of this dark cloud hovering over this franchise the rest of the season until, he comes out and says definitively, what he wants to do. But he's left the door open just enough that, you can't shut the topic completely. And that's not a great position to be in if you're the Bucs.
Well, as we're taking a little trip around the state here with the sports teams, Brandon Woodruff accepted his qualifying offer yesterday to return to the Brewers next year. What's your take on Woodruff coming back and what it means for the rotation and potentially Freddie Peralta maybe being moved later on this winter?
Yeah, I'll start there. I don't know what it means for Freddie Peralta. I think the idea of having both those guys in the rotation and in the locker room is a big thing. And you still have Freddie at a pretty manageable number that, you certainly have to listen. If teams are going to come at you and make this an outrageous offer that's too good to pass up, then I think you have to listen. The flip side of that is you have them at a pretty good number right now that, you can, if those two are on top of your starting staff, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch with Miz right there as a 3 and Quinn Priester, right? It's a really good rotation, and I can see I could get behind the idea of going for it again. But you can make a case that if they, like I said, if they get an offer that's too good to refuse, then they have to at least listen to it. The number, I think that $22 million is one that makes you take a step back, especially when a guy that's had the injury history that Brandon Woodruff has had. I really think it goes beyond that. If he can stay healthy and if he can especially be healthy come postseason, he's more than worth that number. And then it's hard to put a value on the leadership that he provides in that clubhouse. I don't know if I've ever seen many guys that are that respected as much as he is. And I do think he loves this place. I think he loves this franchise. He's been a Brewers his whole career, came up in the system. I think he wants to be part of any sort of championship run. So that's big. I think that goes a long way in a clubhouse, and keeping him around, while it might seem risky at that price, I think there's tremendous value in doing so.
And it's only a 1-year deal too. So, I think that anybody can swallow, a 1-year contract, especially if it does pay out. Jim Polzin from the Wisconsin State Journal joining us here as we close up shop here on D.N.D. on this Wednesday, November 19th. Jim, we appreciate the time. We'll talk again next week and always appreciate your time and your work.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
All right. There he goes. Jim Polzin. Appreciate you. Wisconsin State Journal columnist. Kind enough to close up shop with us here on D.N.D. As coming up on tomorrow's show, we'll get you some fantasy football help. Joe Bartle from RotoWire will join us. And, last week I missed Joe's sound advice, and I came that close. Like everybody loves listening about your fantasy football team.
Mm-hmm.
Came that close to losing to Shanna down the hall.
Oh, goodness.
Wow. But I was able to.
I did end up losing to Scott Dolphin down the hall.
Okay.
Which is very sad.
That happens.
Yeah. But still in the thick of it. Still, I think in like 5th place in the
there's still plenty
league.
A lot of ball game left.
But I'm facing Spencer this week. I'm facing the number 1
How
team.
does Spencer every year have just an outstanding team? I
got no idea.
I'm still trying to figure this out. He drafts really, really well for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I think I draft pretty well.
I thought I drafted pretty well too. And I don't know. Maybe next year when we have the draft and at a Brewer game, maybe I just need to be sitting behind Spencer in the press box and just kind of get an eye on what he's thinking.
Yeah.
An eye on his cue.
I'm curious about strategies. I want to know what his draft strategy is, because he always builds a pretty good team. Although he did try to poach me out of my backup quarterback, Justin Herbert, earlier this year before Lamar got hurt. So I'm glad
Spencer operates in the shadows.
He always,
Something nefarious going on.
Did you see the trade he pulled off last week? He traded away James Cook to get Travion Henderson, Khalil Shakir, and Ladd McConkey. Like,
what?
What are we doing?
Who did he trade with?
Dave Michaels, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have to go talk to Dave about that.
Yeah, my goodness.
All right, boys. We'll rest up and we'll go get them tomorrow.
Our dreams in tonight.
We'll get our dreams in tonight.
That's
We will, as we endeavor to do every single week and every single day. Apologize for the last 4 hours. We'll try to be better tomorrow.
Baby, you dropped the bomb on me.